What's pretty awesome is there are people out there who have the ability to take a game that you know and love and completely change it on its head. You combine that with Sonic the Hedgehog, whose fan base is known for being incredibly insatiable, not that I can blame them, and to no surprise, there are a lot of ROM hacks. You want to play as Tails or Knuckles in Sonic 1? What about a brand new character with Amy, Trusted Hammer and all? Or maybe even play as Vector the Crocodile? No? You don't wanna? Well, you can. Many hacks follow a similar formula. Change up the level design, some of the graphics, bing bang boom, ship it to the internet, 3-day delivery guaranteed. Not to say they're all bad, quite the opposite actually, plenty of them are pretty good. The crown jewel, however, has to be Sonic Mega Mix. 5 playable characters, fantastic level design that encourages speed, beautiful new graphics, and music tracks pulled from many other Sega games including Moonwalker and Rystar. It's incredible. But I know you don't want to hear me talk about the good ROM hacks. Those are easy to come by if you do simple searches. No. Instead, I gotta talk about more interesting ones, the special ones. Ones that you just look at and you go, this is Sonic in Paint, a graphics overhaul of Sonic 1, you could say. And according to the text file that came with the game, the goal is to run around and every button is jump, don't get hit by the bad guys. I mean, they're not wrong. Let's just check out Starlight Zone, one of my favorite. Whoa. Sonic in Paint, more like AntDude in Pain. I think I'm going blind. Going back to other playable characters, let's talk about Big the Cat. You know, possibly the dumbest thing ever that also happens to be voiced by Duke Frickin' Nukem. This is Big's Fishing Derby, a ROM hack where you literally fish. Bet you didn't see that coming. Froggy did a thing, and now all of the fish are evil, so you need to save Froggy by fishing for him like 15 times. For some reason, you just can't keep your hands on him. And speaking of Dr. Robotnik, you can even play as him in Sonic 1. It's pretty disturbing to watch, but there's actually another ROM hack that looks to change things up quite significantly. This ought to be good. Dr. Robotnik's creature capture takes place before the first Sonic game, and it's up to the fabled Doctor to catch the small woodland creatures across all the zones and place them in the infamous containers. But the kicker is you can only hold one of them at a time, and some of them are actually pretty hidden, requiring you to use a bit of strategy, and what the hell, man, this is fun too! Am I the only one who got a sixth sense of pleasure from kicking the crap out of this thing in Sonic Adventure 2? Haha, serves you right for trying to be helpful. So, let me guess, he's just gonna fly around me and tell me all the obvious things like he does in the real game? Yep, okay, exactly what I expected. Can't say I'm too surprised about oh, again. Okay, oh man, oh, it doubled the jingle. Okay, I gotta admit, that's kind of funny. Okay, it happened again. This is amazing. This jingle triggers every time you do damn near anything in the game, and it just gets longer every single time, and you can't skip it. Bounced on a spring? Okay. Took damage? Okay. Bounced on another spring? Okay. It is pretty funny, but admittedly it does get kind of annoying after a okay. Alright, Green Hill Zone 1 completed. Only took me 14 minutes and 25 jingles. I could feel my body slowly fading away. This next one is Chip McCallahan in Sonic the Hedgehog. And by Chip McCallahan, I mean the guy from the classic computer game Chip's Challenge. Oh boy, yep, okay, that's Chip alright. What is my life? Alright, Motobug, you're going to... Now this next one is pretty notorious in the world of Sonic ROM hacks. At first glance, it looks like regular old Sonic 2, but uh-oh. Sonic got fat. This is Sonic 2 XL, where all the rings have been replaced with onion rings. The fatter Sonic gets, the harder it is to control. And if he gets too fat, he actually dies. But it's okay, just run around for a little bit and the weight will just pour right off. Not gonna lie, it's pretty ingenious, if not slightly disturbing. Next up is Sonic the Hedgehog, Eggs on Toast. Alright, I have absolutely no idea what that could possibly mean. What's this one gonna be about? I don't even know why I question these things. I mean, I was the one who chose to do this video in the first place, so I should have expected anything. It's just I feel like I put myself in this position where... Hey, stop thinking about where this voice is coming from. Keep looking in the mirror, pretending to be confused. Let's wrap the segment up, alright? I really feel like I have so many questions to ask, but this is just Sonic 1, but the rings are replaced with eggs on toast. This even holds true in the special stages. Okay, That's a toaster. I don't, man. Like, once you finish the game with all the Chaos Toasters, you unlock New Game Plus, where Sonic's head turns into toast. Haha, I guess you could say Green Hill Zone just got toast. Okay, the game made the pun for me. Good. In New Game Plus, the special stages are harder, and there are 7 of them. Once you collect all of these super eggs, you can turn into Super Toast, which is pretty neat and not at all like Super Sonic. Trust me on this, I'm on the internet. Dr. Robotnik was also replaced by this guy, who I'm gonna name John the Anti-Toast. This next ROM hack sort of covers something that I think a lot of you guys were expecting, an original character. This one is titled, Yeth. It can't get any more weird than it already has, right? Okay, say hello to Yeth, this little white, I mean, this is kinda just Sonic 1 with revamped level design and, odd design choices. But alright, let's take out Robotnik. This looks familiar. I take it back, this isn't familiar at all. And also, whenever you finish an act, it just says, good for you. Ah, positive encouragement, just when I needed it most. Okay, a vastly different art style. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Honestly, I'm mesmerized. There's no boss fight this time around. Instead, you head right into the monochrome spring yard zone, titled Yesticles? Okay, this time there is a boss fight, and it's exactly as it was in Sonic 1, no weird face. And with that out of the way, it's time for Yes Station. I don't even know what's going on anymore. 3 Yes Old Zone. I don't even know how to explain this one. There's just these random houses with people in front of them. Eventually, the guy has a big head. Finally, we make our way to Yes Zone, what I would assume is the final zone. And it's actually one of the most normal zones so far, which is kinda surprising, honestly. I kind of expected the zone to start with Yeth growing in size and then announcing his plans to run for president. Yeth. A thing you could trust. And finally, Zone. Yeah! I beat the game. I did not expect ROM hacks of Sonic the Hedgehog to put me on such a magical adventure. Again, there are plenty of great ones that I didn't talk about, but something like Yeth is better than great, honestly. Roughly 1 year ago, I made a video on wacky and weird Sonic the Hedgehog ROM hacks. And, as it turns out, when I looked for wacky and weird, I found it in spades. Who can forget Sonic in Paint, the lovely and maybe immortal Yeth? And last but certainly not least, Sonic Eggs on Toast, where the rings have been replaced by eggs on toast. I still don't get it. So without further ado, welcome to more Sonic ROM. Oh god, why did it have to be so Mari? Alright, so this one isn't a ROM hack per se, but it needs to be addressed regardless. This is Somari. You may think this is Mario, but no, save yourself the trouble. Somari is an unlicensed pirated port of the original Sonic the Hedgehog, where for some reason, I guess because it's on the NES, you play as this thing. It's not good. Infamous given the hellspawn that is this quote-unquote game, but not good. However, this conversation goes 2 different ways. On the positive side, here is a legit ROM hack called Somari the Adventurer, an honest attempt at making a Mario level in a Sonic style and have it play well, and I will be damned, it's actually pretty fun. It's only 1 act before being thrust back into Green Hill Zone, but hey, it's a fun ride while it lasts. But now we go on the other side of the conversation. Here is Sonic Adventure 64, putting Sonic in, well, Mario 64. I have no clue where I am, but I am really tempted to go in that pool. This bomb knows what's up. After exploring around this pool for a little bit, here is Emerald Coast from Sonic Adventure 1. It is very surreal playing this level in this style, and my god, Sonic can even swim. Hackers do, what Sega don't. That doesn't really work. Sadly, the level doesn't have that part where you're being chased by a whale, and only after 1 fight against King Thwomp, the hack kinda ends. It would honestly be pretty cool if they managed to do more of this in the future, but for now, our Sonic and Mushroom Kingdom fanfictions will have to wait a little bit longer to see reality. Going even further down this rabbit hole, here is Sonic Brothers for the NES. Oh my. Oh dear God. Oh. It is on. Back in the first part, I brought up ROM hacks that simply added a different character to Sonic 1, and I joked before about it, but despite being really basic, these are actually some of my favorites. Even more so after playing through the classic game with the likes of Sally Acorn, who can use her shock pistol, a Motobug, because really, why not? And as mentioned before, Dr. Robotnik, which I mean, again, look at this. This is a sin. There's even one where you play as Amy Rose in Sonic 3, and that game rarely ever gets hacked. Honestly, I'm kinda just easy to please. Like here, Sonic 2 S3 Edition. It's Sonic 2 with stage transitions, mid-bosses, and even modified music in some zones Act 2. And it is awesome. I found this really cool hack too, Sonic Classic Heroes, which is a combination of Sonic 1 and 2, where you play as all of Team Sonic at once. The ending has been modified to have Amy pilot the tornado instead of Tails, which doesn't seem safe, but I'll roll with it. And even the Sonic 2 special stages got fixed up, and this is just... I don't know, man, this seems a bit too intense. And if for some reason you wanted to, you can even play as Team Chaotix with the Knuckles Chaotix style of gameplay. But like, does anybody even like Knuckles Chaotix? I don't know, it seems like aside from the music, the game has nothing to offer, but hey, that's bound to upset some of you out there. Classic Heroes definitely slows things down in terms of overall speed, but it is easily one of the best ways to replay the original games, if you want to do so with a fresh twist. So major props to this one. And now, naturally, it's time to take a look at some more alternate characters, because what would a Sonic hack be if regular old Sonic were barely involved? Like here, Kirby in Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, really, welcome to my channel, I'm a huge Kirby fanboy, why not? It's really just Sonic 1, or even Sonic 2 if you prefer, and instead of a spin dash, you have an inhale move. And that's really about it. Kirby really sucks, am I right? How about this one? Ashuro the Badger. You know, it may be just me, but I don't think I can tell the difference now between a badger and a hedgehog. I can't, I got nothing. In all seriousness, the hack is fun and all, and the level design is pretty decent. And don't get me wrong here, I have absolutely nothing wrong with anyone having their own fan character, but it's just, oh my god, Ashuro can actually swim? Okay, I take back any backhanded compliments I was just dishing out. This became amazing. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. Baka Sonic. I don't even like Sonic. Baka. Alright, here we go. Okay, Sonic, your hair. So what's going on? After that whole hair thing, I really wish there was something more interesting going on with this hack, but it is really just a semi-competently made handful of levels with absolutely nothing Baka about it. This one looks pretty similar. May as well get it out of the way now. Hana! It looks like Baka Sonic, but purple. Oh boy. Alright, first things first, holy crap, this game is smooth. Like, look at this. The animation in this hack is stunning. How did that happen? We got music from Knuckles Chaotix playing in the background, that's a good sign. After being impressed by the animation the whole time, it's time to take out Robotnik and, whoa, what the? Snow? Oh my god, now is this music from Mega Man 8? This hack went from good to awesome in no time flat. There's a new stage gimmick thrown in as well, which... Okay, I didn't say it was perfect. Hana really pulled out all the stops, but sadly it's only one act. Lame! Now, if you have been a Sonic fan for as long as I have, sadly, you may occasionally have the urge to take this little blue blur and just knock some sense into him. Luckily, there is a hack that's just for you. Hedgehog Abuse Simulator. Now, despite what you may think, this is actually a puzzle game of sorts. Using a sort of debug mode, you place all these different spikes that have different properties, and you use them to get Sonic around to areas that he can't get to normally. They all happen to cause Sonic a lot of pain. All the while Tails is there flying around you, and I guess he just is enjoying the scene. That sick freak. Unfortunately, there's not much to this hack either, it's mostly a tech demo, but I will be damned if it's not one of the smartest hacks I've ever seen. Now, if you excuse me... Yes. Yes. Okay, where do we go from here? Okay, Sonic in Colored Zone. This could go one of many different ways. This is a bunch of colors that just got vomited on the screen at once. I really don't know how to feel. This hack features a mock speed button. Glad to find that out the hard way. And, now I guess the game is stuck on an endless loop? What's going on here? Okay, maybe not. Huh. Not exactly how I remember the title screen looking, I'll admit. Now this one is right up my alley. Sonic Back to the Future. I've said before, Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies of all time, so of course I had to give this one a shot as soon as I saw the title. It's basically just Green Hill Zone, but look at that, the Sonic CD past and future boxes. Let's hit the past one first. And hey look, it's Master System Sonic. The music is fitting, as is the level design, and even how the end signpost acts when you reach it. And what about the future box? Sonic Advance! Which, by the way, fantastic game that no one talks about. Speaking of good ROM hacks, Sonic Burned Edition. There's a whole new story starting off here with the cutscene showing Dr. Eggman researching these new flame emeralds. They're just the Chaos Emeralds that got cut up a little bit, but that's fine, I'll go with it. As soon as he gets his hands on them, the entire island just starts bursting into flames. Look at Green Hill Zone, entirely in flames, as is Marble Zone, which is kind of ironic considering that was already the lava world, but okay. There's even a whole bunch of new boss battles, which never stops being impressive. So, by any chance, if you wanted to play Sonic 1 as if you were fighting to stop the apocalypse, and who hasn't really, this is the game for you. Alright, we are almost done here. There's only one more hack to look at, and it's one that a lot of you guys kept telling me and telling me and telling me to look at, so for the grand finale, here you go. Sonic the Useful Engine. I don't know, I don't know. Okay, so like, I really don't even know how to explain this. You may remember how Sonic Eggs on Toast replaced sprites with, well, eggs on toast. So like, imagine that, but with nearly everything now resembling Thomas the Tank Engine. Oh, and once you get a single, Thomas coin, I guess, the theme song from the show plays instead of the level theme. There's this monstrosity here, can't forget about that. You collect Thomas Emeralds instead of Chaos, though, to be fair, this is still Chaos. Oh, and don't worry, once you complete the game, or cheat like I did, even you can become Thomas. One with Thomas. One with Thomas. I mean, you guys really wanted me to look at this hack, and I'll admit, it's weird, but I've seen weirder. At the very least, I am totally okay with it being Thomas the Tank, as opposed to its equivalent, JJ the Jet Plane. If you don't remember what that is, oh my god, it's for the better. I don't think anything that we saw today reached the level of absurdity that was Yeth last time, but we definitely saw some weird ones. Wouldn't be a ROM hack episode without it. But that's one of the things I love about ROM hacks, is it doesn't matter what franchise the hack is based on, every time you check one out, it should at the very least be mildly interesting, and by doing so over and over again, you're bound to find some really good gems. Again, if you haven't played Pana or Classic Heroes yet, you should get on that. But, I didn't really come up with an interesting way to end off the episode this time, so bye! Oh hey, didn't see you there. I know I've already done this joke once before, but it's a Banjo-Kazooie video. What did you expect on this platform? Still to this day, Banjo-Kazooie is one of the finest platformers ever made. I won't ramble on about it and talk your ear off explaining how. I already did that a few years ago. But yeah, I like this game. I like it a lot. Chances are you do too. And recently, a surprising amount of developments have been made in the ROM hacking community for this game. And you know how I roll by now, I love me some ROM hacks. Longtime viewers of mine will know that I've actually played a few Banjo hacks in the past. Way back in late 2016 for festive ROM hacks, I played a little adventure called Snow Glow Village. At the time, this was like the only interesting Banjo-Kazooie hack out there. But even with that in mind, this is still an enjoyable time. Nothing really groundbreaking since the original original game already had a snow level in it with Freeze Easy Peak, but it was still a great sign of things to come. Then, in my first foray into Super Mario 64 ROM hacks, I found some Banjo-inspired adventures as well. Super Banjo-Kazooie 64 fills Peach's castle with paintings that lead to the worlds from the first Banjo-Kazooie. Pretty straightforward, but super cool experiencing these worlds with an Italian plumber instead of a barren bird. In fact, there's even a newer version of this idea called Super Banjo-Kazooie 64 Redux. And while it is currently still just a demo, it is safe to say we're going to be seeing a whole lot more of this concept in the years to come, and I am totally on board with it. And then there was Super Banjo-Tooie 64, going above and beyond that original idea by adapting Isle o' Hags as a proper hub world, even attempting to replicate some missions from the source game as well, like the race against Canary Mary and Glitter Gulch Mine. God, my wrist hurts just thinking about her. Even Donkey Kong 64 got that treatment. I know we're talking about Banjo today, but I mean, have you played Donkey Kong 64? It's just a bloated Banjo experience anyway. It counts. And I mean, hey, in the SM64 ROM hack, you don't have to change into a different character when you find a collectible that's a different color, so arguably the ROM hack is better. And lastly, fast forward nearly 4 years to late 2020's Smash ROM hack video, and we had an entire level in Banjo-Kazooie based off the temple stage from Smash Bros. Melee. By now, it's clear to see a lot of developments have been made compared to Snow Glow Village all those years ago. Finer tuned level design, a healthy use of fan service, I can never say no to that, and even some solid incentives to fully complete it and collect everything, rather than just see what's there on a surface level and move on. This is great stuff. If anyone out there is following the Banjo hacking scene, you already know full well that this was developed by Kirko Mods, arguably the biggest name in this scene thus far, but we'll get to his creations later. There are plenty of other hacks to experience nowadays, and honestly, that fact alone is getting me really excited. Most of these can even be played on real hardware using an EverDrive. So many of these fan-made adventures already come off as pretty authentic. Being able to play them on a real Nintendo 64 makes that all the sweeter. So, let's do this. An entirely new world of Banjo-Kazooie games are at our fingertips, and I am very excited. And like many other retro games out there with hacking communities, leave it to the fans to give us the sequels to those original games that those original developers won't do. I mean that's kinda true. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, not what I expected at first, I'm gonna be honest. The Legend of Banjo. It's the original NES Zelda game, but with Banjo as the hero in an entirely revamped world. There's obviously not a whole lot that can be done to make this feel like a proper Banjo adventure. However, the overworld theme is now an 8-bit rendition of Spiral Mountain, so, you know, that's pretty cool. Kinda sounds like one of those Wisdom Tree games, to be honest. Oh no, is that? Yeah, that's Yuka and Laylee. Kinda makes me uncomfortable if I'm being honest. Alright, going forward, we're just talking about Banjo-Kazooie. You may be wondering why no Banjo-Tooie. Well, that's because there's actually no hacks for that game. Yet. But when you really think about it, isn't Banjo-Tooie just a hack of Banjo-Kazooie anyway? That's a big brain play right there. First up, we have Banjo Dreamy, the first ever full hack of Banjo-Kazooie, releasing in 2018. This is how recent we're talking about here. And by full hack, I mean this is a full-blown adventure containing not only a new overworld, but a total of 8 playable levels. That is really ambitious. This is the world of Dreamy Depths, and throughout you have no jiggies to collect, instead, just a handful of notes. But hey, since there are progression blocking doors that are tied to your musical note count, it works just as well. There are some complications that come with that, but I'll get to it. The new stages aren't all that big, but they all have clearly defined themes, as well as brand new music to go along with them, and a similar level of ability progression from bottles like in the original game. It honestly gets a bit annoying because as a result, you cannot complete any level on your first go, and the game does not warn you of this. And since we have notes that we're collecting and not jiggies, they still reset after leaving a stage, so I wasted so much time being able to get only a few of the notes on the first stage before realizing, oh, it's impossible to get all 10, and then I had to go out and then come back and then, hey, look at that. They're back. This does make completion a bit tedious, but still, considering this is the first major Banjo-Kazooie hack ever, I'm willing to forgive some of these things. It is still fun, just a bit annoying. Like Banjo-Tooie. Still a great way to kick off what's to come in the years after. And actually, that is not the only hack out there to use notes as the main collectible. Banjo-Kazooie Worlds Collide goes for a very similar idea as Dreamy, but this time, the levels that you explore are all mashups between locations from both Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. And apparently all this time, all of those places were hidden down in Bottle's underground tunnels. Glad we're finally trying to commit to world building here. For example, one of the stages is Witchy West, which is a combination of Witchy World and Glitter Gulch Mine from Tooie. But then we also have Rich Ruin Cove, which combines Mayhem Temple from Tooie with Treasure Trove Cove from Kazooie. Out of all of the stages I played in this hack, this one was probably my favorite because even the music is a mashup, blending together the themes from both of those stages fantastically. And man, we are only 2 hacks in so far and I am already in love with the mere concept of a Banjo-Kazooie ROM hack. This stuff is great. Alright, what's next on the list here? We have the Hidden Layer. Surprise, surprise, we have another full-blown original level with a new lineup of objectives to go for, and we have Jiggies to collect now as well. That's nice. We no longer have just the notes. Having the jigsaw pieces back makes things feel a whole lot more natural. I guess by this point, it's not too surprising what we can expect with these hacks, but even still, I was pretty taken aback. This one is also very good. It's kind of hard to compare fan-made creations to the official ones that many of us grew up playing, but it is hard to deny these are simply really fun to explore. Especially if you did play those originals as much as I have, just dozens of times over the years. Going through these new and polished environments, it is so nice and really refreshing. At this current point in time, the Hidden Layer is only a demo with 1 complete level, but the new hub world already has so many nooks and crannies spread throughout it. This is definitely going to be one to look forward to in the future. And with the reality of the situation being Banjo-Kazooie hacking is still relatively new, there are more hacks out there that are currently unfinished that still show off a lot of potential. Here we have Banjo-Kazooie Returns. Once again, we have a new hub world, 1 fully realized level with a new slate of challenges, and secret doors that I really want to get into, and it gets me really upset that I can't. I want to know what's going to be inside. Arguably the biggest complaint about the Banjo-Kazooie hacking community thus far is that there's not a whole lot of originality when it comes to differentiating different ROM hacks. You put Hidden Layer and Return side by side, and you probably can't tell a difference unless you've already played them. Certainly not knocking the developers here. What we still have is awesome. A bunch of fun, fully fleshed out new Banjo-Kazooie levels. How can I possibly complain? Okay, there is one. Banjo 3E. Very low-hanging fruit with that name, I can respect that. So I will give this one a little bit of credit. This is the very first ever full Banjo hack to use jiggies and not just notes. So for that reason, it is still notable, but man, this level design is not good. Can I say that? Yeah, it's not good. Most of what you explore here are just these really uninteresting locations, and you have these jiggies that are spaced so close together, they end up not being fun to collect. Cool that they're there, but at what cost, really? Some solid fan service though, that's always nice. There's a Donkey Kong section, which is pretty cool. It's just the first stage from the arcade game, and that's a lot of fun. Until it's not. Whenever I think of the earliest ROM hacks for any game, this is definitely more of what comes to mind, but hey, even still, the creator has continued to hack Banjo-Kazooie and recently released The Legend of the Crystal Jiggy. Now we got unique collectibles, original locations, some kinda new transformations. This is what I'm talking about here. It's almost unbelievable to think that this is from the same hacker. Almost expected them to make that one mediocre one and then hide in some cave, never to be seen again. Yeah, this just goes to show that character development in real life is real. Ooh, well now this logo looks familiar. Oh yeah, okay. Banjo-Kazooie New Horizons. Yeah, move over, Animal Crossing. Oh, we got dozens of cute and adorable animals and you get to live on an island with all of them and do some chores. Listen here, you got 1 bear, 1 bird, evil killer bees. That's all you need. This is such a great idea for a stage. We have a huge island to explore that looks like Animal Crossing, sounds like Animal Crossing, includes Animal Crossing themed collectibles like fossils, has plenty of specific locations based off those in Animal Crossing like the multi-branched museum, all while sticking to the traditional objective-based Banjo-Kazooie gameplay. It's awesome. Sure, we may not be working with totally original designs this time around compared to the other hacks I've talked about, but this is such a good adaptation of the chore simulator as a platformer. When I saw that copy of Amiibo Festival in the sewers, that's when I knew we had something special here. Huh, interesting. So the TV in your bedroom has Balloon Fight on it. I mean, I guess that's cute. That's like a reference to the NES games you could play in the GameCube version of Animal Crossing. That's kind of cool. Oh. Oh my god. And when you get around to wrapping this adventure up, you get to witness a lifeless KK Slider stare into your soul as he gives you a final performance. Stare deep into his eyes. Everything will be okay. I think if anything, Banjo-Kazooie New Horizons proves that I'm just easy to please. Platforming through the world of Animal Crossing is such a cool idea, I was probably gonna like whatever was included in this hack. I mean, I've made it a secret to nobody at this point that I am a sucker for fan service, so in that regard, I am pretty biased, but hey, a good time is a good time. And there wasn't a single sea bass in sight. Thank God. Now, if only there were one specific hacker out there that basically specialized in the art of fan service. Yeah, it's no surprise you know exactly where I'm going with this. With the rise of Banjo-Kazooie ROM hacking, that allowed space for someone to come in and become the name on the scene, and without a doubt, that honor is currently going to Mark Kirko of Kirko Mods. This dude, damn. Like I mentioned before, we've already seen some of his works before, and they are really, really good, but that barely scratches the surface of what he's created thus far. It all started with a simple idea: bring over Bob-omb Battlefield from Super Mario 64 into Banjo-Kazooie, but rather than just have it be a straight port, create new side areas that build upon the established land and really expand the idea of what that battlefield can be, all the while making small tweaks to factor in how different Banjo plays compared to the chunky plumber boy. Probably didn't sound like a mini town near the base of the King's Tower would make that much sense, but hey, turns out it does. Besides, the king's dead now, what's he gonna do about it? And after, without skipping a beat, Kirko went full steam ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, Banjo-Kazooie, the Jiggies of Time. The entirety of Zelda the Ocarina of Time converted to a Banjo adventure. Like, literally the whole thing. You start off in Kokiri Forest, you make your way to the Great Deku Tree and tackle the Forest Temple inside. Then you get to run around the huge Hyrule Field, which is more fun to run around in than the actual Ocarina of Time because there's actually things to do in this one. Sneak your way to the castle from Kakariko Village. You get the idea. You even get to peek on Ganondorf playing a video game. Dude, Ganon's a gamer, that's pretty cool. Different main locations from the source game are all treated like standalone levels in this one. 100 notes, 5 Jinjos, 10 Jiggies in each. Many of these collectibles are only obtainable after getting specific abilities that you get as you progress, very similar to getting the different items in Zelda. Mumbo's transformations are now Zelda themed, like here I am now a bomb bag, and as one I get to travel into that little hole that you normally have to bomb to get through from that source game. That is just really, really clever. And why not, there's even some extra non-Zelda fan service as well, just to spice up what you're looking at from time to time, because that's what Ocarina of Time was really missing. Diddy Kong. This is without a doubt the most impressive Nintendo 64 hack I have ever seen. It's not without some issues. You still lose musical notes for a level when you die, and that's really annoying, and some of the challenges do feel like a bit much at times, but overall, this is a full-fledged adventure that any Banjo or Zelda fan should check out immediately. It is so, so good. And once again, to sweeten the deal, this is not sponsored, but I really, really like this thing. You put this hack onto an EverDrive, and suddenly you can also play this on an actual N64. It may be uglier, it may run a little worse, but damn it, this is now the way to experience Ocarina of Time on the 64. There, I said it. Kirko did also create adventures based on Majora's Mask and Wind Waker, but they are a whole lot smaller. I know the idea of swimming through the entirety of the Great Sea with Banjo's swimming controls sounded just like a lovely good time, but I am sad to report that is not a thing here. When it comes to Banjo-Kazooie Gruntilda's Mask, you are restricted to just Clocktown, but there is still a lot to do, like a shocking amount. Every single nook and cranny has something you can do, and that's really impressive. You can easily kill an hour trying to platform and collect your way through the inevitable doomsday. And you don't have to worry about a 3-day time limit. That's really nice. But eventually you do get access to a panel that you can jump on to access the final boss fight. Really cool way to access the third day's patented dark and depressing sense of doom. Now I can finally experience that in Banjo, finally. I did enjoy my time with Gruntilda's Mask, but I think I would say I liked Banjo-Kazooie the Bear Waker even more. Once again, we are restricted to just one location, this time Outset Island, but once again, there's also a ton of things to do. Like, shockingly so. Every single inch of this island has something you can do or collect. It's awesome. I know I basically said the same exact thing for both of these ROM hacks, but I mean, hey, I'm just really happy these exist, okay? Let me live. Unlike the previous two Zelda hacks though, this is a more direct transition from the source material. This island is almost note for note, no pun intended, the same exact thing as the GameCube game. But that kinda just goes to show that Zelda worlds translate pretty great to platformers. Didn't see that coming. Now hey, that just means that Banjo-Kazooie Bear of the Wild is on the horizon, and I'm very excited. It's currently not real, but someone's gonna start development on it, so I'm very excited. Banjo-Kazooie Cross Donkey Kong Country lets you run and jump through jungle hijinks, which also fits surprisingly well. Never would have guessed that two different platformers made by Rare would feel similar, but wow, amazing. This is a bit different than how you may remember though, because here you go down this one hole and you can find Donkey Kong just a-lounging. Don't think I've ever seen him so relaxed before, it's weird to see. There's Banjo-Kazooie the Night Bear Before Christmas, inspired by, yes, of course, it's obvious, that one level in Kingdom Hearts. This one is almost shocking to nobody at this point, another roughly hour-long adventure with a ton of stuff to collect across a Christmas-themed snowland and a spooky Halloween town. And I was only half joking with the Kingdom Hearts bit, because it actually plays the Halloween town theme from that game, and that theme is really good. So this is another really good ROM hack. Kirko's creations are just consistently super creative and have way more thought put into them than I would have ever thought possible for Banjo-Kazooie ROM hacking years ago. Really impressive stuff, dude. I would still say the Jiggies of Time is the best ROM hack you can experience of the bunch, but if you want one that you need to keep your eyes on for the future, that easily has to go towards Banjo-Kazooie Stay at Home. You see, this adventure started development in March 2020 when... You know, in this one, toilet paper is the health system. That's a depressing reality for what was happening at the time. Essentially, Kirko, just deciding to be a saint, I guess, wanted to create a handful of fan service-based levels for people to play through as the real world was in the process of burning down. And as time went on, the scope of this project was getting bigger and bigger. You jump into one painting, there you go, you got Whomp's Fortress. Similar to the Bob-omb Battlefield one from before, we have a full slate of Jiggies and notes to collect in a once Mario exclusive stage, also featuring a dead king. Gotta stay consistent, I appreciate that. You go into another painting and you got Blue Resort from Bomberman 64? Oh my god, the fact that someone even acknowledged Bomberman 64's existence is amazing. And there's even this hidden area within the level that's based on a traditional Bomberman map. Oh, I love that. You go into another painting and then hey, now we're playing Pokemon Snap. This one is handled a bit differently. You're tasked with finding specific locations where photos were taken in order to find the jigsaw pieces. That is really cool. There's another painting that brings you to GoldenEye 007. You got some mechanisms to activate, you got a few N64 games to find to give to some of the soldiers that just don't want to deal with the stress anymore, which I can relate to. And even that part from the original where James jumped off the side of the building with the rope. Yeah, it turns out the rope wasn't long enough and now he's dead, I guess. A lot of dead characters in these hacks. There's a level based on Conker's Bad Fur Day, almost to be expected at this point. The entire hub world is here, the music is here. Of course, you got the Great Mighty Pooh section, wouldn't have it any other way, and he is also dead. Boy, you make really good ROM hacks, but is everything gonna be okay? Man, you want to talk about having a love letter to fans of the Nintendo 64? This is honestly the best thing I've seen accomplish that yet. And at the time of this video, not only is this hack still being worked on with new levels still being developed, the latest tease being Yoshi's story, that is going to be really cool, but since the scope of this adventure just keeps growing and growing, the name Stay at Home will actually soon be retired. So give it some time, and soon enough, Banjo-Kazooie Nostalgia 64 is going to be one of the best adventures you can experience on the 64-bit console. I have no doubt. Kirko is, once again, in my opinion, the most notable name in the Banjo-Kazooie hacking scene as of now. But to everybody who's created these adventures for us to play through, thank you. In all of my years of playing ROM hacks for different franchises, I am so accustomed to playing through experimental ones that come off as cool tech demos more than anything. Plenty of good ones over the years, but mostly a lot of just, let's see what this one can do. Oh, that was kind of cool. Moving on. Certainly not discrediting those. I love nearly every ROM hack I've ever experienced, but somehow, while still in its infancy, Banjo-Kazooie has created one of the most impressive and consistent hacking communities I have ever seen. This game just keeps on giving, and clearly, this is only the beginning. I kinda just wanted to shine a light on how cool the Banjo-Kazooie hacking community is as of early 2021, and how cool the future is gonna be as well. Exciting stuff all around. I basically recommend everything I've played in this video, and I don't think I've ever had that for a single ROM hack episode before this. But, I mean, we all know the meme ones are coming. We can't have just a bunch of gold here. We gotta have some that are gonna make you really think about why you're even doing these things in your life in the first place. We're gonna have a Banjo-Kazooie hack where you explore the swamps from Shrek. There's gonna be a MIDI adaptation of All-Star, but for some reason the story's gonna be about tax evasion. You know it's coming. And it was good while it lasted. Alright everyone, here we are. We're playing the ever-famous Adventure Mode from Super Smash Bros. Melee. We got Mario here for this one, of course, my main, and you know, the one thing I always loved about Adventure Mode was the fact there was a whole lot more than just fighting. We got full-on platforming, dungeon crawling, aw yeah, collecting red coins on the R-Wing, that was always my favorite part. Oh, and yeah, how can I forget about the beating up Pikachu's bit? You can't forget about the beating up Pikachu's bit, that part's great. Getting into the Blue Falcon and driving along Big Blue. Doy, wait a minute, this isn't Melee, this is a ROM hack. I really should have known, this part here really threw me off. But yes, today we're going to be taking a look at ROM hacks and mods for Super Smash Bros. But as you can clearly tell, this goes far beyond just Smash. This was actually the hack that inspired this entire video. Adventure Mode recreated in Super Mario 64. Such a cool idea. Given the nature of how that mode was done, the levels within really lend themselves to the movement options possible in SM64. It can be stressful too, man. There's a timed Brinstar escape like you would expect, and wow. If we ever needed a reminder that precision platforming wasn't really this game's strong suit, this would be it. But you may be saying, what if Mario isn't my main? Well, no worries there. We got a whole slew of extra characters to play as. You got Luigi, Fox, Ness, and even Captain Falcon, each with their own little slight tweaks. The only real issue though is Falcon isn't fast enough to outrace Samurai Goro's vehicle on foot, and admittedly, that would just be kinda cool. Big shoutouts to the creator of this one. Pasta Power, man, such a cool idea and it was done so well. And as an additional bonus, they went ahead and hacked in not only Fox, but also Falco in the base Super Mario 64 as well. These basic little character swap hacks are such a simple pleasure in life, man. They're so cool. Oh man, you move so fast when you're carrying King Babam too, this is great. Alright King, I'm done with your shenanigans. Let's go. Done with you. You're grounded. We're through. God damn it. Not really sure where this is going, but I'm excited. Oh, this is incredible. Hyrule Temple from Melee, the infamously huge stage with nooks and crannies aplenty. It is not something I've ever thought of before, but with some creative liberties, it does kinda make for a really fascinating platformer stage. And in Banjo-Kazooie, no less? It's so refreshing seeing this after playing as many Mario 64 hacks as I have. This is no simple drag and drop of the source stage either. All of the set pieces are definitely here, but there was a lot more added to make this feel as fulfilling as an actual Banjo level. We got 100 musical notes and 8 jiggies to collect. You gotta make that ride really enticing, you know? Yeah, you know, this area at the very bottom, that is definitely familiar, but scaling this mountainside to check out the top of these castles? Super cool idea, and it makes sense within the level's context. And my favorite part by far was the secret door that led to Zelda 2's title screen. Oh, I loved that a lot. To be totally frank here, half of the excitement was just playing a Banjo hack. You don't come across these very often. And it looks like the creator, Kirko Mods, is just hacking this game left, right, and center. It's really cool. So, guess I got some more hacks to check out in the future. But okay, you clicked on this video, you saw the title, you very clearly want to see some actual Smash. I know it's rude to assume, but hey, I can't help it. The problem though is the modding scene for Smash is a bit complicated. At the moment, we have 6 different Smashes, and technically, modding is overflowing for all of them. Yes, even the Wii U and 3DS versions. The thing is though, most of what I found were either balance patches to tweak how the game plays, and texture hacks to simply make characters or even stages look like something totally different. Adding in Detective Pikachu to Smash 3DS, fighting on Sky Sanctuary from Sonic & Knuckles over the Kid Icarus Sky World stage, replacing Duck Hunt with the donkey from Shrek. Oh. And don't get me wrong here, all of this stuff is definitely neat and the future is totally exciting, but those familiar with my ROM hacking escapades know that I am looking for something a bit more substantial. The two obvious contenders that have the most interesting stuff going on are of course Smash Bros. Brawl and more recently Smash 64, but not too long ago a mod released for Melee that I have to say, I'm a big fan of. Well then, this character screen looks oddly familiar, doesn't it? This is Melee 64, a mod that transforms what you remember from Melee into something that more so resembles Smash 64. Character portraits reminiscent and even pulled from that original game. All of the models are much more low poly, something I have been championing for years, and the stage selection, oh man, this stuff is great. Not only does everything have low polygons and worse textures, something which, once again, big fan of, but we have locations spanning so many more games of that time that rarely, if ever, get any sort of representation. Pokemon Pinball, GoldenEye, the town from Satellaview, something that most people outside of Japan have no idea what that even is. And of course, we gotta have the best Super Nintendo game, Tetris Attack. Gotta have that one. There's even some Echo Fighter equivalents now with some extra costumes, like Daisy, young Link with his Oracle design, even some Fire Emblem characters from games that never got localized. Fan service is what Smash is all about in my opinion, but we all know there is so much that will never show up in an official game. So something like this is easily the next best thing. Mechanically speaking, yeah, this is just more Melee, but hey, this is a really fun way to experience the game that many of us have put so much time into over the years. Though there is also this hybrid gameplay style which is supposed to implement mechanics based on Smash 64, but I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I really can't tell that much of a difference. I'm no expert when it comes to the inner workings of Smash, so don't take my word when it comes to anything like that. It's fun, that's all you need to know. Melee 64 is a huge standout, but I would also be remiss if I didn't bring up the 20XX training pack, basically a tool to practice against more talented players. The computer AI is programmed so differently here, it's pretty neat getting to play against some techniques that you wouldn't see in the base game. The thing that I'm a big fan of though are the cosmetics. They are a big thing here. We got a bunch of new costumes for every single fighter. Some of these are some really major deep cuts, man, like Burn from Spirit Tracks. Never thought I would see this guy again. And there's also a handful of additional stages that all have really simplistic layouts, but utilize designs either from other games or from other Melee modes like Mushroom Kingdom from Adventure Mode. You can also just play on a flat GameCube. I don't know, man, it's basic, but that's perfect. 100% this is definitely less exciting, but still, it is undoubtedly a helpful utility. But I will never be tournament competitive for Smash, I can tell you that much. You could have simplified this mod by telling me it features the Ice Climbers cosplaying as Fox and Falco. And I would have wanted to play that immediately. But alright, big elephant in the room here. You can't talk about Smash modding without thinking about the granddaddy of them all. It's time to jump into Smash Bros. Brawl and talk about, of course, Project M. Honestly, the legacy behind Project M kinda speaks for itself, and I was actually a bit nervous about the idea of trying to do this mod justice. It's basically a secret to nobody, but Brawl was never really a fan favorite when it came to how it played. Content-wise, top-notch. Mechanics? Nuh-uh. The physics were weird, the gameplay was slower paced, tripping. Dear God, the tripping sucked. So, due to the Wii being so easy to hack into to develop whatever your heart desired, leave it to a bunch of dedicated fans in the early 2010s to not only satisfy the needs of the competitive scene, but also go above and beyond with extra fan service. There are some really simple changes like separating the Pokemon trainers' Pokemon into their own character slots. You can throw in a full costume swap like Mr. L and Shadow Queen, that's really cool. All the way up to fully adding Mewtwo and Roy as new characters, playing just like you would expect them to, despite being totally cut from the original game. Oh man, and I hope I don't get annoying raving about stage selections, but this one is so good too. There's a bunch of new layouts for stages that typically had gimmicks that you couldn't disable, to having something entirely new like Bowser's Castle. This stage is great. For years, for an unfortunate long time, I thought this was just a balance mod. You know, when you really dive into the mechanics, there are definitely a lot of changes, but I kinda thought that was it. And like I said, I already know I am not qualified to properly show everything off here. There are so many things that make this an overall better gameplay experience. But coming from my really simple brain here, using the phrase better than Brawl is the blanket statement that describes this the best. It feels a whole lot better for sure, but all of those extra fan service options really push it over the edge. which makes it all the more of a shame because back in 2015, the Project M team announced it would stop development of the mod, leaving the future of the Brawl modding scene completely uncertain. Oh what, you thought we were done here? Oh no, of course not. When you have something as popular as Project M was being dropped, that obviously leaves the door wide open for more dedicated fans to come in and pick things right back up with Project Plus, releasing in 2019. In essence, this is kinda just more of what the original PM offered. A much cleaner interface, so many more stage locations like a corrupted Hyrule Castle, Yoshi's Cookie, Wario Land. Oh my god, seeing anybody remember Wario Land gives me immense joy. Each stage on the selection screen has multiple options selectable, which is really cool. So many more costumes, dude, like so many. Holy cow, Pig Ganondorf, that's amazing. The music selection is so much more diverse with a ton of great remixes that fit in perfectly, and much more defined different movesets, like Charizard having Thunder Punch, Wario having his Fist Slam from Shake It. Dude, Knuckles, holy cow, Knuckles is a playable character in here, and he feels great. Looking into the history of this mod, it turns out that Knuckles was actually in development hell when Project M was still around. So seeing him finally released in a great way in Project Plus, it's really cool to see. I feel so foolish, man, for assuming these mods were mainly for competitive purists and nothing more. That could not be any further from the truth. Now that I've put in a few hours to both of these, I would go as far as to say these may as well be considered an entirely new Smash game. I know many people already do that, but hey, now I'm saying it, and I couldn't recommend it any higher. And hell, a lot of the same things can be said about Brawl Minus too, which set out to do a lot of the same things, just a lot more memey. Yeah man, why not? Nothing like a good old trip through Lavender Town, the scariest place ever to really get my blood flowing, you know? I mean, look at Sonic Go here. Oh, he is definitely excited. Again, a lot of the specific changes are totally lost on me, but hey, Pichu is in this. That's really cool. And when you do a down special, it basically explodes. Big fan. Oh god, Waluigi is playable in this too. Oh no, never thought I would see this day. This is still a really good time. In my eyes, this is not as exciting as Project M or Project Plus, but this definitely fills in a need for a Smash game that's more nonsensical, and I can always get behind that. If only we can get a little bit more nonsensical. Oh man, is that PlayStation All-Stars menu music? Oh man, when that plays, you know you're in for a good time. Do you remember all of these super old pictures on the internet of these huge, fake Smash rosters? Well, clearly someone saw that as a challenge. Dude, okay, Geno, Dragonite, Crash Bandicoot, Bomberman, Dante, Scott Pilgrim, Goku, what is happening? This is a real thing. So many extra characters too as costumes for other characters. Do you ever thought you would see Clank, Alien, Lip, and Rusty fighting on Battlefield? Well, luckily Smash Infinite has fulfilled your oddly specific dreams. Oh, and Big Pikachu is here? Thank goodness. Oh no. What's really absurd about all of this is for any of the new characters on the roster, they actually kinda have original movesets. All of them. What, did you think Crash would just be a simple clone of Mario or something like that? No! Doesn't really play like you would expect him to, but no, he is still a totally unique character. This is all incredibly cursed. But there is a stage based on the Minish. You know, the Minish from Minish Cap. That was a great game, so I really like having a stage here that is bound to give this mod a perfect 10 out of 10. I did not have fun playing this. Like, not at all. Morbid curiosity that kept me experimenting for like 2 hours and ultimately had a good time? Absolutely, but I don't know if I would use the word fun. Like Project Plus from earlier, this does kinda qualify as an entirely different Smash game, but for completely different and some hysterical reasons. Next time you and some friends want to have a Smash Bros night, suggest playing this one instead. And if those friends stick around, hold on to them dearly. Oh, I feel like I'm dealing with sensory overload now. Is this real life? Well, at least for today, we are done talking about Brawl. If you want something really good or something really cursed, there's something for you. But now it's time to go to something that I'm a little bit more interested in. Time to go more old school. It's time to talk about Smash 64. This is, in my opinion, the most exciting modding scene at the moment, as far as Smash is concerned, simply based on how new it all feels. As expected, on a bare bones level, we do have a few new individual stages. There's Tetris-themed, Banjo-Kazooie, Bomberman 64, even a brand new Break the Target stage featuring elements from every main level, which is really cool. Big shoutouts to Snooplax. He does a great job showcasing mods like this and many more, and is even responsible for creating a few of these. Wouldn't have known about some of these levels if it wasn't for him, so good job, dude. Like this full hack right here, Super Sonic Bros, a mod pack that replaces all of the stages with ones inspired by the original Sonic the Hedgehog, with all of the appropriate music attached to them, of course. They're simple layout changes here, we're not dealing with any new gimmicks or anything like that, but they all still feel like the stages they're representing, and that is all I need to see. And also, there's a Sonic 2 variant here, Super Sonic 2 Bros. And I mean, come on now, Sonic 2 is better than Sonic 1, so singing those same exact praises, but with Sonic 2 themes instead? This instantly makes this the better hack. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. Gameplay-wise, Smash 64 is definitely less intense than all of the newer entries, so having stuff like this is a great incentive to give this old game another shot, especially since you see most of what these hacks have to offer in a single run of the single-player mode. A perfect way to experience what these are all about. But if you're a long-time ROM hack episode watcher on my channel, you already know that I love when someone can take an old game and completely transform it into something totally new. Brawl definitely had that, but it's infinitely cooler when we get that with something even older. Everybody say hello to Smash Remix. So you know how a mod like Project Plus adds an incredible amount of content and customization to Brawl? Well, I love that I'm able to say that Smash Remix does the same exact thing, but for Smash 64. Oh baby, this character select menu. I love this. We got all these melee characters showing up, even a couple from Brawl and beyond. All of these new fighters have new movesets too. They play just like you think they would, even with the limited options of Smash 64. And on all of the returning characters, pressing the D-pad in a different direction brings up variations like polygon versions, accessing Metal Mario, Giant Donkey Kong, even Giga Bowser, and even, why not, regional variants. I do believe this means gameplay differences, but the most important change is while American Smash goes, Japanese Smash goes. That is very important. And oh man, I'm gonna do it again. The stage selection, holy cow, this is so good. There's multiple pages. Oh, you get to play on the desk from the opening cutscene, and it's called First Destination. That is so clever. The only real way to describe Smash Remix is absolute overload. Enough changes were implemented to make the game feel distinct from the pure Smash 64, so with that in mind, being able to play with new and familiar characters on stages like Mementos from Persona 5, Goomba Road from Paper Mario, a basketball court from NBA Jam, I guess? It's probably from another Smash mod, but I don't know. You get to slam dunk your opponents with the barrels. That's all I needed to see, man. The stage is great. New challenge levels for all of the new fighters, a pretty cool 12-character battle mode, sort of similar to Smashdown from Ultimate, and the best part, this hack is still getting updated consistently. As I was working on this episode, a new version dropped with new items, Kirby hats for all of the new fighters, which is great because I was ready to complain that they weren't in the version I was working with before this dropped, and the Bowser hat on Kirby is just so damn cute, and even, oh man, get this, the Mad Piano from Super Mario 64 as a playable fighter. Oh, this is amazing. He can chomp you, he shoots books at you. When you taunt, he plays a little bit of music. This is amazing. And something else really cool is you can even play this on a real Nintendo 64. Simply load up the ROM on something like an EverDrive and boom, it's like it's a real game or something. Sure, it definitely looks worse than an emulator, no doubt, but there is something really cool about being able to play this on an actual console. You can actually do the same thing with that Banjo-Kazooie hack too. That's so much fun. Man, the ROM hacking scene is so damn cool. Okay, so what did we learn today? Well, we learned that the Smash modding community is fascinating, to say the least. But when you have some really great games out there like Melee 64, Project Plus, Smash Remix, even Smash Infinite, we get hacks and mods out there that totally stand out on their own. So for instance, if you really want to play Smash, but you're not really feeling like playing pure Smash that day, this is the route you can take, and you're gonna have a ton of fun doing it. But you know, maybe I'm being a bit unfair here. We talked about Smash 64, Melee, Brawl, even glossed over 3DS and Wii U, but Ultimate I haven't talked about yet. Despite that game being brand new, there is totally a modding scene going around, and they're doing some pretty neat stuff, so I gotta do that game justice. Let me see what I can find here. There has to be something cool that I haven't checked out yet. Oh man, that's really cool. Okay, so it looks like somebody modded Steve's meat back into his victory animation. Technology's amazing. We're gonna start things off by talking about a game that is near and dear to basically all of our hearts, Super Mario 64. And what else can really be said about this classic? It shook the industry at its core back in the day, and personally speaking, it was quite magical my first time playing through. And even nowadays, the game is still pretty That ain't Mario. That's Green Mario. Welcome to Super Mario 64 ROM hacks. Now these ROM hacks have a bit of an interesting history. While you would assume that modifying a 3-dimensional game as opposed to 2-dimensional would provide just a ton of super simple hacks that get a couple little things done, like changing Mario into Green Mario for example, would be really the entirety of it, that's actually not the case. The earliest hack that I can remember that was actually super surprising was Super Mario 64 The Missing Stars in the far-off year of 2009. And I mean, hey, look at this! Totally new landscapes, a modified HUD, and totally new mechanics like a day-night cycle that provide different missions without needing to go through the classic star selection screen. There's only 38 stars in this adventure, but still, it was super cool to see at the time. After seeing so many hacks of Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario World, seeing someone put genuine effort that shows in a 3D game was awesome. It may not seem all that impressive now, but it set the framework for years in the future. And 2 recent major hacks show just how far this hacking scene has come. First up, we have SM64 Star Road. Aw man, where to begin with this one? This hack is awesome. At its essence, well, it is a full-scale 130-star adventure with completely new and fleshed out worlds and a varied lineup of missions. The hub world is really nice, even holding a few secrets here and there. The soundtrack is filled with a bunch of remixes from games like Mario RPG, Donkey Kong Country 2, and even Bomberman 64. And man, it's just a lot of fun. The level designs have a good blend of exploration and proper platforming, and with a camera that's actually pretty good, I know, contain your shock. If any hack in this video is considered must play, it's gonna be this one. I know I'm totally just getting ahead of myself here, but this is easily the best hack of Mario 64 yet. I even like the slightly changed colors of the plumber for some reason. It's not much, but it looks nice. And it even pulls off some really unheard of stuff, like if you get a game over, you actually get tossed into this little area that you must escape to get back to the adventure. Star Road ain't nothing to mess with. I could talk about this for 20 minutes, but let's move on. Now, not too long ago, we have a more conceptually advanced hack, Last Impact. And, So, getting the good out of the way up front, there is plenty of brand new stuff that is exclusive to this hack. Like there's a fully playable file select screen, there's cutscenes, and no, your eyes are not fooling you, it's even in widescreen. It's actually super surreal playing Mario 64 this way. I mean, you could play it in 4x3, but like, why? For the most part though, the adventure follows the same idea as Star Road. You have a bunch of new areas to explore with original missions to do. But the worlds are much larger, missions are more varied, and there's even a plethora of new power-ups. Yes, I am currently using the Flood right now. That's pretty cool. The space level also uses Meteor Herd's theme from Sonic Adventure 2, and I don't care what anybody says, I still love that soundtrack. There is a lot of really cool things going on in this hack. However, while all of this stuff is impressive, it's going for far more than it's really capable of. I get the feeling the hacker went for more of a look at this cool thing I added approach rather than a look at this fun thing I added approach. The game can be shockingly frustrating at times, and some of the missions are far too directionless, despite the addition of the cutscenes that introduce each of the missions. Like, here's a perfect example. I just started a race with this mermaid, but I have absolutely no idea where she went. Could be that the camera was completely facing the opposite direction and the game didn't tell me where she was gonna go in the first place. Eventually, I did figure out where to go, but even once I passed this awful camera, I didn't have enough air. If only the game pointed me in the right direction of the frog suit, or even told me the thing existed in the first place, I'd have been fine. Now, this is not really a game-wide issue, but I still found myself more annoyed than I should have. I think I'm in a minority here since I think people actually really like this one, so Last Impact is definitely worth checking out, simply based on its impressiveness, but for me, it is honestly way too frustrating for its own good. If you're gonna pick one, Star Road is the way to go. But see now, that is both sides of the timeline right there, the Genesis and the modern. And there are also plenty of full-scale hacks that have been made on top of these. One example, Super Mario 64 Green Stars. Stop me if you've heard this before. We have a brand new hub world, new levels with different settings and a full range of missions, and a whopping total of 130 stars to collect. It's not as good as Star Road, but it's still awesome to see, and like, this is why I love really good ROM hacks. You basically have the equivalent of a full game that blends familiar with new, and it is awesome. I may not be a fan of Last Impact, but I can at least appreciate and admire its existence. But finally, that is enough time spent raving. It's time to take a look at all of the other stuff that's thrown here somewhere in the middle. First up, there's Thwomp's Easter Egg Hunt, and here you actually play as the Thwomp. It's an interesting choice, I'll give them credit on that. Your job is to run around, or I guess hop around, all of the areas trying to find Easter eggs, I guess? I mean, I think that's what I'm trying to do, but I don't know. It seems like a neat idea, but this is just absolute hell to control. You constantly need to jump and maintain momentum, and platforming on top of that is a near impossibility. There's also these weird static Banjo-Kazooie models just thrown around randomly. I don't know, man. I played this for like 20 minutes and I didn't see a single egg. I'm pretty sure they're just a myth. If there's any Easter egg hunt that you want to go on, the better choice here is to play Goomba's Easter egg hunt. And by the grace of Miyamoto, look at him go. He can actually move. And the game looks a lot better too. The aesthetics definitely fit the Mario theme here, and the music is nice and energetic. This is what I'm talking about. The camera can be a bit annoying to work with, but it is still loads better than the last one. There's your typical Mario grasslands, a space area with lower gravity, and even a purely 2D area. Not enough Mario 64 hacks go for this type of thing. This is the level select room from Glover? Why? By the time I got to the desert stage though, things started to get a bit unnecessarily tough for me, so I think it's time I tap out. And well, the Banjo-Kazooie models are here again for no real reason, and I'm constantly questioning that. Super Banjo-Kazooie 64. It's the levels from Banjo-Kazooie, but in Mario 64. That was a simple enough explanation. Now unfortunately, don't get too excited here, it's not as good as it sounds. The camera was clearly not built for levels like this, and honestly, the hack itself doesn't seem to be built for levels like this. It's a really great idea that's worth some time, and it only has 30 stars, so it's okay for what it is. Man, can you imagine Luigi and Bottles hanging out? That would be just the most perfect pair of nerds, and I would love to see that. And in fact, the same idea was even done for Banjo-Tooie's levels. Again, it doesn't really work out as well as I would like to, but it's at least really cool to look at, and some of the missions are legitimately fun. There's even an attempt to recreate the massive hub world of ILO Hags, and it actually kinda succeeds. And you know what? Why not? Let's go for the hat trick, Super Donkey Kong 64. And hey, I was actually ready to hate on this one too, but it actually has a bit more work put into it. Like this area here that was used with Tiny Kong in the source game was actually properly recreated. That's cool. You can get power-ups by getting enough stars. There's even an area that transports you to different levels through Cranky's lab. Again, just like the source game. And I gotta say, it's actually pretty refreshing moving through this game this quickly, considering the original moves at the pace of a sloth. Forget about a gorilla. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of DK64, what of it? Now say what you will about the Wii U, but that console is home to Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, so it will always be worth owning. An awesome puzzle game starring the mushroom-capped hero, Captain Toad. And you can probably guess where I'm going with this, Captain Toad 64. Now this is only a proof of concept, only having one level, but it's so cool. Unlike the actual Captain Toad, you can jump, but as you can see, doesn't really do much of anything. As a result, it is up to you to figure out how to get from one platform to another and get all of the treasure before collecting the big star. It's a Mario game where the main character traverses the world without jumping. I love it. Actually, there is a similar hack that changes all of the textures into the monkey's face. You hackers are a bunch of sick people, you know that? Now, if you're familiar with Super Mario World hacking, the name Kaizo will either ring a bell or bring up war flashbacks. Some would argue that this style of hack really offers up a unique challenge. Others would argue that it's really bad level design. Think you know where I stand. But why do I bring this up now? I am glad you asked. Kaizo Mario 64. Ah yes, the line of fire shooting through the pipe bit. Classic. Immediately, we're left with an interesting challenge. The door is blocked. Also fire. And there is a block pyramid just on the opposite side. Also fire. Now, if you're a veteran of Mario 64, you know that within that block pyramid is the respawn point. So what you have to do is die from the fire, so you spawn inside of the pyramid, you quickly talk to the pink bomb that's in there, and then you can open up the path and get inside the castle. Off to a good start so far. Alright, let's see what Bob-omb Battlefield has in store. Oh no wait, sorry. Chain Chomp Battlefield. Let me guess. Yep, okay. There's copy and pasting chain chomps all over the place. Beautiful. I mean, it's not as hard to traverse as it may appear to be. It's just, it's confusing, really. Oh, and the warp spots have changed too. That's a challenge, right? Now I gotta play through the level like how Nintendo wanted me to. Oh, it's tough. The battlefield is just covered in chain chomps. What is the challenge here? Oh no, I can't possibly beat King Baba. Oh hey, look at that, I beat him. Cool. Alright. They can't possibly screw up the secret slide, can they? Ah, yes. Of course they can. I was foolish. At least a dozen attempts later, I finally made it. The star is just not gonna show up, is it? I hate Kaizo so much. Super Mario 64 is the classic to end all classics, a game that shaped the entire gaming industry going forward by not only doing something different, but by hitting every single nail on the head so effortlessly. Nintendo made that jump to the third dimension so easily, and luckily, nearly 25 years later, the game is finally good. I think this is the leaked early footage of Animal Crossing Switch. Don't tell Nintendo that I'm showing you this, okay? The ninjas will come to get me. Just enjoy this for what it is. I'm excited for the full release. Since the last time we've gone over Super Mario 64 ROM hacks, a lot of developments have been made. I just had to do another one of these episodes. There were hacks that I missed out on, and ones that I want to talk about that are coming down the pipeline. Oh man, how could I have possibly missed out on Sonic in Super Mario 64? Oh no. Oh my god. You know, I know Sonic's never really been the same since his jump to 3D, but this is ridiculous. Koopa the Quick wants to race? Oh man, he has no idea who he's messing with. He doesn't stand a chance. I take it back, this is a disaster, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm getting bored playing as the Blue Hedgehog. You know what you can do when all else fails? Crash Bandicoot.
I ain't joking here, this is not a drill.
I really love this, man. With the game as old as Mario 64, there is pretty huge satisfaction in playing it with the brand new characters. Crash doesn't have any of his signature moves, he really just plays like Mario, but he does say whoa a lot and he collects crystals, so that's really all I need. Now this next one doesn't have Sonic in it, but it damn well should have. Somari-64. Never wanted to think about Somari ever again, but hey, here we are. Now honestly, this hack is really cool. This is essentially what we get when we take the higher speed cap of the Sonic mod and actually make a level based around it. This is just one really long racetrack, and it's all a matter of seeing how long it takes you to complete it. All while Supersonic Racing plays in the background. I think this is perfect. Alright, next up, Uber Mario 64. Huh, okay, well I think Uber means super, kinda, right? Unless it's like there's a car outside your front door ready to pick you up and it's Mario driving, and I've seen him drive before. I wouldn't really get into that car. Alright, you know, this sort of seems like the usual stuff here. I'm not really seeing what's so special about this one. Uh-oh. Alright, you know what, that's fine, we got past it. No big deal, just climbing up the mountain here, no problem. Oh my, oh, the king is, he's super strong now. I don't like this. Man, forget this. Let's take a trip to Womp's Fortress instead. Excuse me? Man, it took me damn near like 10 minutes just to climb up the fortress. That really sucked. Thankfully, the king is as easy as he ever was. That's fine. Oh, I take it back, that's messed up. Well, the verdict is out on this one. This hack is insane. The frame rate is constantly getting destroyed, much like my sanity, but other than that, it is pretty entertaining seeing just how much craziness can be packed into one level. I mean, I was expecting the slide level to have like a bunch of fire and enemies and stuff. I gotta admit, man, this hacker out there, you got pretty lazy. Oh, there's no star. Okay, I'm gonna cry. Now there was one hack in particular that people kept telling me about after the first episode, Super Mario 74. Well, where are Super Mario 65 through 73, am I right? I'm actually pretty upset at myself for missing this one. While a ton of hacks out there are small little experimental ones, this is another full-blown 151-star adventure. There's a brand new overworld, unique level designs, quick and snappy objectives so you can move from one mission to another pretty quickly. It's kinda cool. Obviously, when compared to the more modern hacks out there like Star Road and even Last Impact, yeah, 74 is not all that impressive, and the camera, it is an absolute nightmare. But hey, you know, I've played worse. Need I remind you of the horrors of Bowser's Dank Rave? No thank you. Actually, on the topic of Last Impact, a lot of people got on me for this last time that I wasn't really huge on this hack. A couple years later, my opinion still stands, but what couldn't be understated is just how creative and technically impressive it is. You got widescreen, brand new mechanics, elements from other Mario games. The fact that all of this stuff is possible in Super Mario 64 now is genuinely incredible. And as a matter of fact, if you remember, there were a few super impressive hacks that I covered in that first episode. Goomba's Easter egg hunt, Captain Toad 64, Super Donkey Kong 64, man, it's almost as if there was a common thread tying them all together that I didn't realize until after the fact because I was dumb and didn't do research. Oops, it turns out all of those hacks were made by one developer and I just didn't realize it at the time until the comments section of that first video was sure to tell me over and over and over again that I messed up. Oops. I mainly wanted to do a second Super Mario 64 ROM hack episode to highlight one hacker in particular, Kaze Emanuar. One of, if not the, top hacker in the game right now. It's actually pretty crazy. It's like just because he could, he tore this video game classic wide open, having done and is continuing to do amazing things with it. You remember Super Mario Run, right? That was pretty neat. Well, how about a side-scrolling auto runner in Super Mario 64? All you can do here is jump, avoid obstacles, and get as many coins as you can. And it's really fun. Oh, what, is that not impressive enough? Okay, maybe the entirety of NES Super Mario Bros. Ported over, with multiple playable characters. That's pretty sick too. You know, I'm sure some people out there have a sick fantasy of wanting to play through that NES original as Waluigi, and thanks to the hacker, we can finally live out that dream. So that's really cool, I think. But maybe you're saying that's still not enough. Okay, fine. How about Super Mario Odyssey then, huh? That was a pretty fun game, right? A really cool adventure with awesome gameplay control with Cappy, letting you move in ways that Mario has never done before. Yeah, Cappy is now playable in Super Mario 64 as well. And yes, you can capture damn near everything. And Mario even has some of his new moves from that game. This is really cool. Being able to take control of so many things here was honestly way more fun than I thought it would be. Signposts, the chain chomps, the stump that's holding the chain chomp, some butterflies, why not? Oh, and why would you fight King Babam when you could just control him instead? Oh, that's right, I forgot he gets upset whenever he's off his platform and then he like super jumps. But I'm just gonna make him not land on the platform. I think he's done dealing with my garbage. Oh God, a first person hack. I don't know about this one. Oh God, I'm getting sick. So we've already seen the likes of Donkey Kong 64, Banjo-Kazooie, and Banjo-Tooie more or less ported to Super Mario 64, which is really cool still, but how about something even bigger, something grander, something more epic? No, not that one. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Basically, in a way to play with the ability to now have extra large maps made for Mario 64, why not just make an entire adventure based off Ocarina of Time? You start off in Kokiri Forest, you run up to the Great Deku Tree, you navigate through the forest dungeon, you fight a giant spider as the boss, you get to run across the vast Hyrule field. Yeah, man, this is all here. This is Ocarina of Time. There's a brand new magic meter to help out with puzzles. The soundtrack's been ported over as well to really make it feel authentic. And there are a bunch of side quests to go for with over 150 stars to collect. It is crazy that this exists. Oh man, if only someone would give me a good back massage. Oh, yeah, sure, bro, I got you. Oh no. Hacking a video game is no joke, it's really difficult, and making a good one is even harder. Quite frankly, if you've hacked any video game and put it out there for the world to play, more power to you. I'm simply just not good enough for that. My bar of quality is as low as making a Mario Maker level that's just based around a ton of Goombas. Yeah, I'm just way better at playing than creating. But Kaze right now is the man to keep your eye on. His existing hacks show sides of Super Mario 64 that I never saw possible, and going forward, kinda just because he can, Super Mario Sunshine is making its way over with a fully working FLUDD in tow. Those Cappy mechanics will see their full potential because Super Mario Odyssey is getting that same treatment. And if you prefer the more linear styled 3D Marios out there, there's Super Mario 64 Land, filled not only with stages based off 3D worlds, and you can play as Cat Mario, but entirely new stages as well. To say that these hacks are looking great would really be underselling it, and I am super excited to play them here. Looking at the grand scheme of Super Mario 64 hacking, it is awesome to see how far things have come. Going all the way back to 2009's Missing Stars to now, man, the scene has radically changed for the better, and I highly recommend everyone checking some of these hacks out. Well, looks like the time has finally come. I like to think that my presence here on YouTube can be boiled down to two different things: the Kirby franchise and ROM hacks. It was inevitable that at some point, both those topics were going to come together and there was going to be a Kirby ROM hacks episode. It just made sense, right? Oh boy, what's taking Anthony so long? Hey, here we are. I always knew that this was something that people wanted to see, but admittedly, I found it pretty tough to finally pull the trigger. If you've seen the previous ROM hack episodes, you know that I love looking at a wide variety of hacks that the franchise has to offer. But for the longest time, the Kirby series in particular was pretty barren. People just weren't really trying to modify these games, and I mean, why mess with perfection, you know what I'm saying? But recently, a hack was released that just ignited that Kirby ROM hack spark once again. Kirby Superstar Stacker. Now, I have talked about this game before. It's just a Super Nintendo version of the Game Boy puzzle game Star Stacker. However, it is the only retail game in the franchise to never leave Japan. And the most acknowledgement that we ever got from it was that DDD's theme in it was the core influence of the awesome Master DDD theme that's used in modern games. However, finally, the game is fully available in English, and it is great. I mean, it doesn't really amount to a whole lot. You know, I can now read the menus. That's nice. And I can understand what this Waddle Dee in pain was saying all this time. Ah yes, interesting. It doesn't make the difficulty spike at the end of the story mode any easier, but still, I approve. Now, considering typical ROM hack episodes tend to focus on games of the named series and that's about it, it's important to note that when it comes to Kirby, most of the stuff that you'll find is Kirby being thrown into other series instead. Ah yeah, of course Sonic was gonna make his way into one of these episodes somehow. Now I have already covered these in the past, but I will be damned if they're not still super entertaining. Kirby in Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. They are more or less exactly what you think they are. You play through the respective adventures, except, of course, Kirby has his ability to inhale anything on screen and the surrounding area, all at the push of a button. And instead of Tails in the second game, a Waddle Dee. I love this, man. Waddle Dee needs more love. But hey, how about something new? Why not go the extra mile? Kirby Mania. It's just some Kirby sprites on top of the existing characters, and some of the music is replaced with Kirby remixes, but hey, modding for Sonic Mania is still in its infancy. Regardless, it's pretty neat all the same. Kirby and Mario games, on the other hand, is certainly something that's way more common. Bam. Let's Apoyo. There were so many hacks of Super Mario World where you play as the pink puffball. Oh my goodness. There's Kirby's Adventure in Mario World, there's Super Kirby, there's Kirby in Master Hand's Doomsday, there's Kirby's Dream World. These are your run-of-the-mill level modification hacks with some graphical changes here or there, but despite Super Mario World having a ton of hacking potential, all of Kirby's mechanics are nowhere to be seen in any of these. You just play as Kirby. I still enjoyed them, absolutely, so if you want to play some Kirby games without the typical Kirby stuff, for some reason, here you go. I even found one based on the original Super Mario Bros. Kirby's Adventure 2. It's the second verse, same as the first, graphical hack with Kirby in it. I'm cool with it. There's even a Super Mario Kart mod, Mario Kart R, where Kirby is playable. And it was made all the way back in 2004. This whole putting Kirby in random Mario games thing, it's been around for quite some time now. And I know the obvious question, what about Kirby games proper? They have to have some sort of hacks out there for you to talk about. And haven't you already covered enough Mario and Sonic ROM hacks to fill an entire lifetime? Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, it took a little bit of time, but I finally have a sizable list of notable ROM hacks to talk about, though it really only covers 2 different games. The first of them, Kirby's Dream Course, aka Kirby Mini Golf. This is a pretty fun game. I wasn't the biggest fan myself, but to deny just how much other people love it would be ridiculous. And if you're one of those people, check this out. First off, we have Kirby's Dank Course, a series of brand new single player levels. Nothing really fancier than that, but if you've already played the original to death and you're dying for more content, this is absolutely for you. But what if you're more of a fan of the multiplayer? Well, there is one hack that I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are familiar with. That certainly looks familiar. So if you're unfamiliar with Grump's Dream Course, even though it may seem like something that may be a reference to another thing that may be on the YouTube platform, I will say that if you're a fan of the multiplayer in the original game, oh, this is perfect for you. It's a series of brand new levels for multiplayer. Man, bumping into each other all the time, fighting for whoever gets the most stars, learning what to do and what not to do as both players see the stage for the first time. The multiplayer in this game is something special, I will admit. It's perfect for something like a 2-person Let's Play show, I would say. But now onto Kirby's Adventure, basically the only game where some interesting stuff happens in the modding community. Things did start off pretty simple though, you know? Like one of the earliest hacks out there was one that simply allowed you to keep the UFO ability after completing levels. Something extra awesome considering that you're able to get the ability right in the first stage. And the challenge is now see how long you can play through the entire game by keeping the UFO ability with you. It's pretty awesome actually. Oh yeah, take it, you big dumb tree. Oh, this interstellar massacre just feels right after all these years. There are a few other simple hacks out there. There's Vegetable Valley Nightmare. Basically, it's the entirety of the game's first world with no breaks in between. Can you surpass the incredibly high difficulty of the franchise that everybody claims is too easy? Yeah, of course I can. It would be incredibly embarrassing if I couldn't, considering how much I've played this stupid game. This idea then sort of morphed into another hack, Kirby's adventure restitched. Now, basically the entire game is played in sequential order. There's no world maps, just doors that lead from one level to the next. Pretty cool idea. Or, you know, we could just... Alright, you know, nothing about this on the forefront really seems right. But I mean, some of the enemies were changed to the ones from Wario Land. That's pretty cool. And the ability portraits were all adjusted to have Wario in it instead. You know what? That's actually really good attention to detail. You know, the more I think about it, why not? Wario had that weird inhaling ability in Wario World, so why wouldn't this make sense? But on to the two hacks that actually did something pretty neat. The two-part main event. First off, Kirby's Bizarre Adventure. No, it's not a JoJo reference. Let me just stop you right there. So, you know how one of Kirby's main abilities is being able to float infinitely thanks to his adorable, puffy, air-filled cheeks? Well, what if he couldn't do that? That's what Bizarre Adventure is looking to figure out. This is actually way more bizarre to play than you would think. Yeah, you know, Kirby's always been considered a platformer, but when it comes time to actually do some platforming, yeah. The other hack is by far the most advanced one of the bunch. A Japanese hack with no actual name, but was programmed by Purasabe. Or Purasabe? I can never figure out how to say their name. Now, if you've paid close enough attention, this isn't the first time that we've talked about them. They've done some really cool and sadistic stuff last time I checked them out. And as for Kirby, well damn. First off, we have a modified homeworld with multiple levels accessible from the start. And right off the bat in level 1, we're introduced to a season swapping gimmick, similar to what we saw in Kirby Superstar. You can't get past the waterfall? Well, just change things over to winter, now it becomes snow, and there you go. The idea with this hack was to give every single level its own unique feel. Like, here we have Quick Man stage from Mega Man 2. Sick. This took me forever and a million save states to finally get through. But hey, once you finally get past it, more Kirby goodness. I'm actually kind of upset there aren't more video game references to be found here. All the music has been swapped out too. There are some remixes of newer Kirby songs in the Kirby's Adventure sound font, and that is actually awesome. I didn't know it was possible to hear this on an NES ROM. This was really the only ROM hack that I could find that shows off this amount of technical prowess. Now, it did take a few years for NES Mario, Super Mario World, Genesis Sonic to have some real genuine creativity shine through, but for the time being, this is all we have. But if this hack is anything to go by, the future is looking bright, and I am very excited to see what people come up with. There is a hack of Superstar Ultra as well that I wanted to bring up called Superstar Extra, which modifies the level designs for some of the game modes. And it is fun, but still, it's relatively basic stuff. It's just nice to see that there's more than 2 Kirby games being modified nowadays. You see this here? This is more of what I want. Kirby's Dream Land Advance, a Nightmare in Dreamland inspired recreation of the original Game Boy game. There's no copy abilities, the enemies behave slightly differently like they did back in that source game. There are brand new sprites for the enemies that only existed in this adventure. Everything was done here to make it feel like an honest to goodness official remake akin to, well, the official one that we got for Kirby's Adventure. But the interesting thing about this isn't a ROM hack. It's just a fan game, meaning one that's not played with an emulator, but was developed to just be played as its own program. Now, I know I don't really delve into those too often, but I just had to talk about this. When I first saw it, I was convinced it was an actual hack, and I got super excited. But regardless, I had a blast playing it, and I highly recommend it. What? Oh, what? Just because every single ROM hack episode has ended off with some sort of big meme grand finale, that this one was going to have the same thing? Well, I'm sad to report there's nothing overly meme-y in the Kirby franchise. Just yet. I did want to take this time, though, to showcase my favorite hack of the bunch. I love this one to death, and it's for very simplistic reasons. Kirby's Halloween Adventure. Ha ha ha. Boo. Honestly, this is just a graphic hack. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, the level design does change up every now and then, but it's pretty minuscule. But man, this was so well done. The changes to the aesthetics with each and every level and world was awesome to see. I was compelled to move forward with the adventure just to see what modifications laid before me. Everything about this really fits that sort of childish, spooky vibe. Like the world names, those are super appropriate. Pumpkin Prairie, Spooky Seaside. The silly references were also really great to see. And that was probably the best part of the entire thing, the ability icons. They're so clever. I really like this one. High jump, he's Superman. That's adorable. This was the one I don't really understand though, the wheel one. It's just the wheel. It's different and it's not bad art, but okay. I've said it once and I will say it a million times over until I am dead and placed underground in a very gentle manner with everybody looking over my lifeless body. Nobody in this world has it easier than Kirby fans. Hey, how you doing? If you're new here, let me bring you up to speed and get you all caught up with the rest of the class. Kirby gets treated the best out of any Nintendo franchise out there, and it's not even close, I'm sorry. Sure, Mario gets a few remakes that set the world on fire, Zelda gets one of the biggest worlds gaming has ever seen, Pokemon is out there joining the AAA gaming roster by releasing in an incredibly buggy state and not fixing it, but consider this. We can finally play Tilt and Tumble on a console officially with an actual controller. Yo, an amazing mirror is here too? Dude, like open world Kirby action, finally, with easily accessible online on the Switch. Like, dude, Mario Wonder doesn't even have online co-op, okay? Clearly Nintendo has their priorities in line. They even acknowledged the Super Nintendo version of Star Stacker for the very first time ever in America. Like, that's awesome. It's been on the Japanese service for well over a year before this, and they didn't even localize it. It's all still in Japanese, but it's still pretty cool. Guys, it's been 5 minutes since the last Kirby game got announced. I'm getting scared. The mere acknowledgement of Super Nintendo Star Stacker outside of Japan immediately got my mind racing. Like, don't get me wrong, this is still cool and all. It's really nice that more people have access to it than ever before, but like, man, the fan translation is right there, dude. Is it even worth playing this game's story mode if I can't decipher the sounds of pain coming from Waddle Dee after I beat him? Didn't think so. And they just went ahead and called it Kirby Star Stacker, the same name as the Game Boy game, as if we as the fans have not been calling it Super Star Stacker for years. The Kirby community will never recover from this. Listen, okay, we gotta take the stories in these Kirby puzzle games seriously. This is the same franchise that brought us Avalanche with the sassiest Kirby of all time. Please don't tread on my roots, it would not be a wise decision. Oh, apparently the dialogue in this game wasn't everybody's cup of tea because I actually found a ROM hack that rewrites all of the dialogue to sound more Kirby-ish, I guess? Please be careful around my roots. Can't you walk another way? Kirby still basically says you though. So yes, if you couldn't tell, we are taking another look deep into the world of ROM hacking, and not just that, we're gonna look at some proper fan games as well. Ones that are being developed right now, and ones that are being developed 20 years ago. We got some old ones in here too, and it's important to go through those because, man, we are just riding such a damn good Kirby high, man. Like, of course, I am down to celebrate the official stuff until the cows come home. I will do that every day if I have to. But it's hard to deny that with the fan stuff on top of that, dude, us Kirby fans are really eating well. Yeah, like the famous watermelon gif. Like, really? We're just superimposing a gif into a video now? What is this, 2009? Nah, I'm over this. Now that is more like it. An absolute highlight for me in the ROM hacking scene nowadays is this trend of colorizing a bunch of classic OG Game Boy games. You know how Nintendo did that for Link's Awakening with the DX port on Game Boy Color? So yeah, basically that, but times 100 for games that never got them. It's all kind of surreal to look at, honestly, but this is a working game. You could load this in your Game Boy emulator of choice or an analog pocket, whatever you want, and it just works. The original Dreamland, the only Kirby game where he was white on the box art, now in more than 4 colors, that's pretty damn cool. Seeing the latter half of Bubbly Clouds be a proper starry night sky and all that, man, it's just so nice looking. It's hard to believe this is the same game and not some big budget project. And that's not all, Pinball Land got the treatment too. With this, all 3 boards look a whole lot more distinct with unique color palettes, and the bosses all feel just a tad more epic as a result. Finally, the joy of spending forever trying to go up the next section of the table only to immediately get shot back down comes in a more vivid appearance than ever before. Oh, how fun. And before anybody goes, oh, but what about the Super Game Boy? That gave these games color. I mean, nah, look at this. This doesn't really count. Like, yes, it is color, but come on. And besides, in the grand scheme of things, these games are very small in scope. We need to experiment with something a bit more. Kirby's Dream Land 2 DX, baby. Dude, this feels illegal to look at. Unlike the first Dreamland game, this has always been a much fuller adventure, and for this fan project, the artists have left no stone unturned to make sure that if the Game Boy Color is able to produce the color, then damn it, they were gonna use it. On top of that, the original game did feature native Super Game Boy support, which of course added color like the previous games, but in a much more appropriate way, implementing the typical 4-color palette to match the theme of the world that you're in, and even included a cute little border. I always like that a whole lot. But dude, like, come on, look at this. It's no comparison. Just gaze your eyes upon the level end bonus game. Like, I didn't even know this was possible, but quite frankly, I don't care how it was possible. I'm just here loving this. This looks gorgeous. At certain points during this adventure, it even outshines Kirby's Adventure. You know, the game that already had color in it. Looking back again to Link's Awakening DX, it was very clear that when they moved from the Game Boy to the Game Boy Color, they were also able to add new content. And hey, turns out, the fans can do the same thing. Look at that, a settings menu. Not a whole lot you can do here, but you can change the status bar color. That's kind of cool. And you can even disable the Animal Friends theme songs from interrupting the level music. Like, that's kind of cool. Koo's theme is incredible, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I want to hear the proper soundtrack. I'm sure Block Ball and Star Stacker will get their own DX spotlight at some point, but for the time being, this is what we have, and this is awesome. I love this a whole lot. The me that's been playing this game since I was a child, a very, very wee lad, is loving this. Thank you for everyone who worked on these, because oh my god. I love the Game Boy as much as the next guy, but it is hard to go back to the classic 4 shades of gray or green if the option for full color is right there. Kirby's Adventure for the NES established that this world was always meant to be bright and incredibly vivid, so it is awesome seeing this bit of a slightly different timeline where these games got the official DX treatment as well. It just makes these titles feel a lot more uniform with the native Game Boy Color game, Kirby Tiltin'. I'm sorry, Kirby. Hey guys, you want to come over and play some Kirby? Got the hot new game, Kirby. You want to come through and give it a whirl? It's Kirby. You know, while it is cool and all that Tilt and Tumble got an official re-release with controller support, it doesn't really change the fact that that game can be kinda rough and annoying at times. Whether you're tilting a Game Boy, a Switch Pro controller, or the whole ass GameCube, that is just the nature of this game. It is. Oof, oh boy. But maybe this hack that assigns tilting to the D-pad and jumping to a button is just the thing you need. This tiltless hack has been around for quite a while, but props for going the extra mile and removing the tilt and tumble from the title as well, because now we won't get sued for misinformation. There's no more tilting, there's no more tumbling, there's just the motion controls were the core gimmick with this game, and removing it does eliminate a lot of why you would even play this game in the first place, but hey, for speedrun potential, I can see this being a good time. Unless, you know, practicing with the Switch version on a controller prone to motion drifting sounds appealing. Oh boy, I can't wait to do that. And just like that, the fans are responsible for definitive editions of 4 classic Game Boy Kirby games. Now don't mind me, I will now continue to play every single level in the ball rolling minigame in Kirby until I pass out from exhaustion. Another popular trend in the world of ROM hacking are randomizers, where you can take any element of the game, levels, items, enemies, whatever you want, and completely jumble them around, and it's pure chaos. These tend to be pretty popular with Zelda and Metroid. Sonic has a few too, but who cares about any of them? It's Kirby's time to shine. He has some randomizers too. Finally, he's the king. You already know, Kirby's the king. Why do I even need to explain it? Kirby's the king. The one that was probably the least exciting was the Superstar Randomizer, which just changed up what abilities you got from the enemies, and that's it. Yeah, not thrilling at all, honestly, but it did give me paint on the very first stage, and that was pretty refreshing, playing Superstar and dealing with that feeling of, oh yeah, I forgot about paint so early on in Spring Breeze. Because let's be real, you forgot about paint too. The same can be said for the Nightmare and Dreamland randomizer, but here you can also change Kirby's color, and that's cool. Mostly because it reminded me of just how damn good the sprite work was for this game, because man, Kirby looks fantastic. Oh my god, Meta Knight was Kirby all along, oh my god. Ah, that's great, with this hack you're able to get the light ability more often than ever before. Good. The adventure randomizer though, here's where we start cooking. You get it, like cook Kirby, you get it. You see here, not only do we change Kirby's color as well as randomize the abilities, but the levels get shuffled around too. There's no guarantee where you're going once you enter a door in one of the worlds. Now, once you're in a level, everything remains the same from the source material, but we're getting closer and closer towards peak randomness here. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. If any game in this franchise were to benefit from a randomizer mode, you already knew it was Amazing Mirror, because oh my god, this is one of the most unhinged hacks I've ever played in my entire life. The colors, random. The abilities themselves, not random, but a lot of enemy placements are. The music is random too, which is very bizarre when you get to a boss and it's playing a very calming theme. Oh boy, that's weird. And yes, most importantly, the levels are random too. Are you realizing just how crazy that is? Each and every door now brings you to a totally random location in this game's gigantic world with absolutely no rhyme or reason, and it is awesome. You're jumping from world to world in mere seconds, and accompanied with that music that doesn't fit the situation at all, you got the occasional enemy that you didn't see coming either, and man, this is crazy. You see all these times when you go into a door and then you can see there's another door that's supposed to lead you back to the area you just came from? Well, now that door brings you to somewhere random as well. It's just total chaos. I spent like 30 minutes just running in circles, doing nothing but maybe getting 2 treasures, and then I got to my very first boss. It took a half hour. I got plenty of the fast travel switches. I found a shocking amount of those stupid star catching minigames. That's annoying. And to think you can randomize a game and play it co-op as well? That is so damn cool. This is perfect. The other Kirby randomizers maintain a similar experience as the base games do, but Amazing Mirror, that is not the case here. I am losing my damn mind and loving every second of it. This is fantastic. I don't know how smooth of an experience it is. I kind of went crazy 20 minutes into doing nothing, but man, it's still awesome. Now, last time we did this, Kirby's Adventure hacks were starting to show some real potential. Like we had Kirby's Adventure Restitched, which was pretty exciting, stringing every level together in order without ever returning to the hub world, which does lead to an interesting challenge, only because I turned this into a, how long can I keep the UFO ability from level 1, which I found out 10 minutes later was approximately, here-ish? And I didn't take that news very well. And since then, there have been a few more entries to add to the ROM hacking lineup. Like here, we have this brand new difficult hack called Heaven or Hell, which brings your health points to 1 without any way to increase it, and the same goes for your life count, turning the entire game into a one-hit death adventure with many trips back to the game over screen. It is painful. If you're one of those clowns on the internet that says that Kirby games are just far too easy, sometimes you're right, but this wouldn't be one of those instances. There's some more level-based potential showing up periodically too. Here we have some levels designed off the ones from Super Mario Bros. Wow, so retro. Here we got Star Rod Scuffle, which is a lot more fleshed out with new graphics for the levels and even for the ability cards, which is pretty sick. And for an extra bit of fan service, Paint Roller was replaced with Addo from Dreamland 3. Love that. I'm grasping at anything I can here because I'm an unsatiable Kirby fan. But all these years later, there is still one dominant king in this field: Kirby's Halloween Adventure. We did talk about this last time, but since that time, there have been multiple updates to it, leading to version 1.4, which is the final patch. Halloween Adventure is complete. A ROM hack that's actually completed? That's... wow. Not to belittle any hacker out there that's still working on your projects, like, obviously it's no easy feat. It takes many years to get it exactly where you want it, but this one's done. It's a full-blown game, and it's done. That's incredible. Once again, us Kirby fans are eating really good. What can I say? Brand new level designs, brand new enemy sprites, brand new level themes, brand new ability cards that all go with this spooky trick-or-treat styled vibe. This is a proper new game built on the original Adventure engine. This is clearly the cream of the crop. The aesthetic here is just so unique. It transcends just being a simple batch of levels because I was always wanting to jump into the next stage just to see what it was going to be this time. I have played Adventure dozens and dozens of times in the past, and it was so nice to play an entire game where every level caught me by surprise. Dude, even when you start the game all the way in level 1, you can go into Kirby's house. You couldn't do that in the official games until Forgotten Land. Like, you can do this now? That's awesome. And the new ability cards, I just love these so much. The new high jump ability card is Superman. Crash is now Bomberman. That's perfect. If you gulp down an enemy with no ability, it goes, I got a rock. But if you got the rock ability, it goes, I got a rock. That's genius. Mike Kirby out here just enjoying a nice stroll. That's pure bliss right there. Oh no. An evil wheel is going after it. Oh god, he can't get out of the way. He has headphones on, he can't hear us. Oh god, no. I want to thank also the hundreds of fans who were so kind to let me know that is actually a reference. The whole wheel thing, that is a reference to the 2010 indie French horror movie Rubber, which is about a tire. Didn't know that beforehand, and now I do, so I feel so cultured. I did also find this one NES hack where you can play as Kirby in Mr. Gimmick, and that's really cool. Mostly because I wanted to talk about Mr. Gimmick for a second. The pixelated Kirby games have been getting the fan hack love for far too long. I am happy to say that polygons are finally getting some love too. Check this out, Kirby 64 Wispy's Trials, a set of brand new levels for the Pink Puff's first pseudo 3D adventure. This means the future is bright for brand new, fully 3D environments for this classic N64 title. The fact that we can get new levels for this game, that's awesome. I mean, let's be real here, there's not a whole lot to work with, but I gotta talk about it, because man, it's maybe in 10 years there'll be something good, but right now, this is what we got. I mean, like, also, someone ported Bob-omb Battlefield from Mario 64, like that's kind of cool. Yeah, it's pretty slim pickings for Kirby 64. Really now, it is all about Return to Dreamland, because this is the game that's gotten the quote-unquote pretty damn cool treatment, all things considered. I was kind of hopeful that Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot would be in the conversation too, but honestly, the best thing we got right now is simply upping the resolution in an emulator and dreaming about what the game would look like with an eventual console port. That's it. I mean, it looks nice. I mean, if this was ever in proper HD, I'm sure it would look gorgeous, but as it is, it looks really cool. Meanwhile, we go back to Return to Dreamland for the Wii, and we got... Oh, you see, that's why I liked Return to Dreamland Deluxe so much. It could have been a simple port of what the Wii game looks like, just upscaled. I mean, that's exactly what they did with Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Why wouldn't I expect them to do that with Kirby as well? But no, the art style swap makes things stand out a lot more than ever before. So when it comes time to thinking about some theoretical console versions of the 3DS games, just the idea of getting something in the vein of Return to Dreamland Deluxe gets me very excited. But man, you know what? Even if you weren't into every single graphical change, there's a mod that released immediately after the game came out that removed said outlines. I'd make fun of the people who were so desperate to remove the characters' outlines immediately, but quite frankly, I'm a Paper Mario fan, so I can't be making such outlandish claims. I'm no better. Oh yeah, that was totally a King Dedede tree, by the way. Tree DD. I hate this. I hate this a lot. I was trying to act like this never happened and move on, but I guess we'll talk about it. Without a doubt, it is the Return to Dreamland modding scene that is certainly the most unhinged of the group, to put it lightly. Yeah, man, remember when Kirby rode atop a Dedede at the end of the adventure when you were going up against Magolor? Of course you do, look, it's right there. Oh yeah, that looks about right. This is Kirb, isn't this the Kirby plush that typically hides in front of people's houses with a knife? Oh no. One mod that really stuck out to me is Galactic Crisis, which not only replaces Meta Knight with Galactonite, but even implements the proper moveset of that character, which is pretty damn cool. This isn't just Meta Knight with a different skin, nah, you can just cause havoc throughout the entire game as Galactonite. That's pretty awesome. This thing's a butterfly, and it's causing chaos. I love it. Shout out also to Kirby's Retro Dreamland. This is just a neat idea. A full graphical overhaul that restylizes the game to be more like the cancelled GameCube game. The gameplay is exactly the same, like nothing has changed there, but considering how elusive that original beta is, it's pretty refreshing to go through the finished product with this new but old coat of paint. And hell, while I'm at it, someone took this idea a step further with a deluxe mod that had new models based off of the character's original adventure appearances. I love this so much. Sadly, I am no Switch modding pro, so I can only enjoy this image from afar, but it looks nice from afar. I'll give it that. Unlike all the stuff that I already know how to do with the Wii version, where with the click of a few buttons I can... Uh-oh. Meta Knight got fat. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the RTDL mod to end all RTDL mods, Revenge of Dreamland. On the surface, Revenge is a straight-up hard mode of the original game, but if you're familiar with the original, you quickly begin to notice dozens of tiny little changes here and there that really keep you on your toes in the best possible way. Level designs, slightly different. The hat designs for abilities, slightly different as well. Hell, on top of that, like in the older games, abilities like Fire or Beam even fully change your color. That's so cool. You then begin to notice that certain enemies are moving a lot faster too. If an enemy has a projectile, their distance is much longer than before. Dude, I'm out here dying to the first Gigant Edge mini-boss, like what do you mean? The biggest surprise of all to me was that the energy spheres are now in different locations, some of them. While plenty of them are in the original spots, so coupled with the harder difficulty, it's just harder to get to them in general, but a lot of them are placed meticulously behind new strings of obstacles and enemies that are genuinely challenging. It really could have been so easy to just make every single enemy kill you in one hit, and then level designs are introducing spikes everywhere, and then boom, that's the hard mode, but no. There was actually a lot of thought and a surprising amount of tweaking done to make for a genuinely great mod. Well, until I thought, Wispy Woods was dead and, just as easy as he always was, but then, like, he changed color out of nowhere, and his attack strategy changed, like, excuse me? This is possible? I'm mad. I'm actually mad. Okay, I'm not that mad. I'm more so upset. I'm just upset. Play this mod with friends if you never want to see those friends again. That is an AntDude guarantee. I hope that when it comes to looking towards the future of Kirby modding, that Forgotten Land gets a bright future, since it is the first big 3D adventure everyone was hoping for after all. I mean, somebody got the game running in 60 FPS almost immediately, which is pretty cool. Not like the game needed it, the native 30 FPS works perfectly fine for this game, but it is nice to see. I'm more of a playable woofy guy personally. Yeah, it's a lot of skins. We have a lot of skins to work with here. Minecraft Kirby, Diamond Sword Kirby, Always Surprised Kirby, Grammy Award winner Meta Knight, because yes, that is a real thing, and I'm so proud of him. Moving Kirby into SpongeBob's Pineapple Under the Sea. Why the hell not? All I'm saying is if you were thinking the original game was missing Shadow the Hedgehog as the true final boss, then damn it, the modding community has you covered. At the end of the day, the exciting takeaway from all of this is while the hacking and modding scenes are still not as robust as Mario or Sonic, there's a lot more happening in a wider range of games now than we had a few years back when it was mostly just adventure hacks and I don't know, Superstar had one thing, I guess, that was about it. I mean, in the last video, I had to bring up mods of Sonic games just to fill up the video time, so we're in a much better spot now. But hey, let's continue looking at some fan projects. Sometimes, if you want the really good stuff, we gotta look beyond simply taking a ROM and modifying it to our will. The world of full-on fan games has been growing consistently for years now. It's bigger than it ever has been before, and that's really exciting. So there are definitely some projects that I want to highlight here, as well as take some time to appreciate where we are now by looking back at where we started 20 plus years ago. Because once again, man, part of me just really wanted an excuse to finally check out Kirby and the Eternal Paradise. From seeing online bits and pieces of what was being built here, I can tell that this fan game was going to be a bit more on the special side. You see, last time on this adventure, I played Kirby's Dream Land Advance, a reimagining of Kirby's debut adventure in the style of an authentic GBA game. This, on the other hand, takes that great authentic style and adds so much more control options to your moveset. This is merely a demo at the moment, but immediately the potential is crazy. The current abilities on offer have brand new moves to work with that really flow well into each other. You can swap between two abilities on the fly now. You got this sick slide long jump combo. This is a level of complexity I feel like Nintendo would never actually do themselves in an official Kirby game, but this is all still done in a way that feels like a proper Kirby game. And it's just a shame there isn't more to play with in this demo, man, because this is going to be good when there's more to dive into. The reality though is that even though I'm so excited to spotlight this game for the first time ever, it does seem like current development has been ceased. It seems like the developer was going through some stuff, and hey, it's more important to handle that than making a fan game, but just know this, sir, your contribution to the Kirby fan game field has not gone unnoticed. Similarly, we have Gamble Galaxy Stories, another one with plenty of potential. Simply put, it's another super competent Kirby fan project where who knows how long it'll take before we get there, but any final product that comes of this will be fantastic. And with the source code being publicly available too, hopefully that's sooner rather than later. You consider what these projects are looking like in the current era, and we look back to 2010's Invaders from the Dark, it's clear to see the jumps that some of these fans are making, while also all coming together to agree that, okay, yeah, that GBA Kirby sprite really was peak, wasn't it? But you know what, that being said, Kirby's Dream Land Plus really caught my eye too. You don't often see fan games of popular franchises trying to emulate the Game Boy style of all options, but hey, that's what we got. Great new sprite work, 8-bit remixes of music spanning the entire series, new abilities with the option to play as Gooey. Once again, not a final product, but it is cool to see different fans approaching fan games in different ways. Sorta like, oh yeah, this one's about to be different. Kirby Battle Blitz is a fighting game. And it's a really good one too. What the hell? This is the most anime bullshit I have ever seen from Kirby, and Kirby has an anime. I feel like this has no right to be as fun as it is, but once I started playing, I was just nailing combos left and right and characters were flying all over the place. This is awesome. So we got this wide cast of Kirby original characters, and they all have pretty different movesets that all work with the same idea of building up your meter, juggling your opponents, fairly typical fighting game stuff. But it all just feels really satisfying, considering this isn't just a Kirby Fighters thing of, oh, every character is just a different Kirby ability, and instead each character is their own unique thing and they have an actual personality as told by the game's story mode. It immediately became a much grander blowout blast, giving each character a test run and seeing which one of them felt the best. One of the Kirbys has a damn Keyblade. Like, of course it's gonna be insane. The Sonic community did the same thing with Sonic Smackdown. Like, these franchises that decided to have these weird, offshoot, unconventional fighting games as an official product actually have a fan project that is a more traditional fighting game, and they're both sick. Give me a friggin' Star Tropics fighting game next, I don't know. And dude, there's a level creator too? Dreamcrafter, Mario Maker but for Kirby. Are you sold yet? Like everything else here, we're still far away from any sort of final product, but man, what is here already works surprisingly well. It's an 8-bit Kirby game with the obvious NES style, but we got Rootin' Tootin' Whip Kirby here. I love him. It is already possible to go online and download some other creators' levels, but I was all about giving the actual designer a shot, and it was surprisingly straightforward. Placing tiles, enemies, doors, adding background layers, all with, of course, being able to test what you made immediately. It's really fun. The controls don't feel exactly like a Kirby game. There's definitely some tweaking to be done there, but what's currently here, it's awesome. I know I keep jumping around from franchise to franchise here, but man, Mega Man Maker does the same thing for that franchise, and it's just so cool knowing that the main companies aren't gonna do any of this stuff anytime soon, so leave it to the fans to pick up the slack and celebrate these classic video game styles with seemingly endless content. What more could you ask for? I mean, the Whip Kirby is cool and all, and like I do like Rootin' Tootin' Kirby, but I think it's about time we buckle down and just finally give Kirby a gun. Watch out, everybody. Kirby's f***ing pissed. And this time, he's done being nice. He is locked and loaded and ready to destroy everything that comes in his way, not just in Dreamland, but in any Nintendo world he dares step into. You see, this whole time I thought Link was pretty stupid, constantly going up against Ganon with the sword. If he had a rocket launcher like Kirby had here, it would go much smoother. What is this, Death thinks that he can step to Kirby with a gun? Yeah, right. That's a good way for Death to go from being a title to being a description. What's beautiful about Kirby's Rampage is that this game was put online relatively recently, but it looks like it was developed during the Stone Age. All things considered, the fan game scene certainly isn't all that vast, but we do have a lot of promising demos. As well as, once again, Kirby's Rampage, which probably has an ending, but I don't know, the game kind of crashed, so I couldn't see the end and I wasn't going to do it again, but I trust that there's an ending. I don't know. The same goes for the ROM hacks too. There is a lot of promise being developed that hopefully, once again, I keep saying this, in 5-10 years, we get a lot more cool stuff. It feels so nice to actually have a lot of things to play rather than struggling for table scraps. I just want more Kirby food, man. We gotta continue this whole Kirby fans are eating good thing as long as we possibly can. But now, it is finally time to take a trip back through the Wayback Machine. Way back before wikis and AI learning were dominating the internet world, I was taking many trips to this little fan site called Kirby's Rainbow Resort, where one of its main selling points was, hey, this one section here for fan games. It's kind of crazy to think, but I did actually play these games when I was a wee little fetus, and I haven't touched them since, so let's see if they hold up. I mean, they're not gonna, but let's see anyway. Kirby games. Does this title screen have you excited? I remember looking at this when I was a kid and being like, oh man, more than one game in one game? I can't wait to play it. We got a really slow Breakout, a shooting game against Nightmare, oh, okay, that's it. Maybe we need more polished single game experiences. That's probably better off. Fighter Kirby Rush. Oh dear God. Dude, honestly, like, the most fun part about this was installing it. Like, this blue to black gradient is a window to the past, man. Send me back to the screensaver maze where it's safe, the original liminal space. I'm home. Minigame Madness has a similar premise to Kirby games, multiple games in one. Let's give it a go. Okay, so we got a basic memory game, that's a classic. And the other planets are currently inaccessible. Don't you just hate playing games in early access? I don't care whether or not it's been 20 plus years since this demo released, hopefully we get the full product soon enough. I can't wait for the full game. Next up, Met Arena. Oh man, there he goes. He's moving all right. All those solid green knights don't stand a chance. I don't know what they are. They didn't explain. It's just I'm being bombarded by green, and the audience is stunned at this wondrous performance. I would be too. And when you're done fighting, you can go on to the next game, Save Kirby, where you play as Meta Knight, and he all right, this one lost me, I'm not gonna lie. Gourmet Grab. This is kind of a Kirby thing, right? Like Gourmet Race from Superstar. Maybe this one can be kind of similar. That ain't Kirby. Yeah, that ain't Kirby, I'm sorry. Gotta eat all the good food like cake and chicken. Don't eat the yucky food like green beans and pumpkins. Gosh, vegetables are so icky, aren't they? But forget the first game, man. I'm all in for Gourmet Grab 2, where you can not only play as Kirby and even Meta Knight now, but also Sonic. There he is. And it's... oh God. God, it's so bad. Here we got Bump in Battle, where you just sort of pray that you knock the enemy into the hole. That's it. That's it. Kirby Asteroids, not asteroids, Asteroids, which, you know what? I'll give him credit. This is actually the arcade game Asteroids. This one is totally accurate, just with Kirby. Credit where it's due. Good for you. Candy Cane Frenzy. Just keep walking in a straight line towards the endless void, gathering as many candy canes as you can and avoiding the trees. And be careful, because if you touch the trees, Kirby dies, I think? I don't know, my game froze here. The beat slaps, though. Kirby on Zebes? Yo, the Metroid world? Okay, let's go. Oh yeah, man, this is the Metroid I remember all too well. But now we got Kirby in this. Oh, that's awesome. You know, you look at this and then you look at Dread. They're the same picture. Special shout out to PW Rush, a minigame with Lolo instead of Kirby. That's awesome. I mean, not the game. The game is bad. I'm just happy that someone back in 2004 said Lolo's name out loud. Really, no, it's just a less good version of Kirby's Star Shot, a contender for the slowest shooter of all time. But you know what? I swear to God, this is gonna be weird to say, but there is some ambition here, because you can actually get a handful of copy abilities that will affect your shots. That is shockingly ambitious, especially when you compare it to Candy Cane Frenzy. Boss fights are shockingly tough. There's like no rhyme or reason. They're just shooting off like oh, back to the title screen. Good. Oh God, okay, maybe Kirby Valiance is the one, you know? We have an actual story to consider here. I can invest myself into the plot. In an age of darkness and dreamland, there was little hope to anyone. The new enemies, the the Baboombas? All right, who called them Baboombas? It's like a secret cut cousin of the Goomba family from Mario. You know, they didn't really put up that strong of an offense, but I am getting kind of tired, so I'm just gonna let them have the fort. It's fine. I'll just take a nap here. It'll be fine. All right, there's a story. Everything's gone bad. Everything you can expect. Wow, the Baboombas are evil. Let's see here. If you can kill more Baboomba in this game, you can unlock, different endings. Gaming has never been better than this. All right, time to answer a very important question here. Am I gonna take the time out of my day? Am I gonna go for the completionist run and succumb to all these urges to do such thing, defeating 70 plus Baboomba to see the final ending of this game? You already know the answer to that. It's no. You can see the video's ending soon, so I'm not gonna do that. They're Baboomba. I'm not gonna kill 70 plus Baboomba, all right? That's silly. Let the Baboomba run the world for all I care. First your draw a circle, and then you just fill it in with the color black. I guess there you go. It's a Baboomba. Congratulations.